welcome to episode 72 of State of My Sports. That's State of MI Sports, where we talk about the teams we love and you love in this great state of Michigan. Stay in touch with us on our social media, State of MI Sports on Instagram and Twitter. Also like our Facebook page, State of MI Sports. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. You're alerted when a new episode is out. And share us with some friends to help us grow our audience. Episode 72, we will catch up on the Detroit Tigers and do basically a full breakdown of the Detroit Lions, the game against the Bears. Not a pretty one, but we're going to talk about that. We're going to preview the upcoming game against the Packers. We'll make some picks against the spread. And, of course, we'll grade some Michigan beer. That's a nice and short, sweet introduction. I'm Sam Waltart. With me today we got Ryan Waltart and Jarrett Fenema coming back.
That's right, baby.
Filling in hot. We had a couple guys calling sick late. Not sick. I shouldn't say sick in this era. That was not. They were not
and
sick.
then actually Jarrett called in sick late. And then it turns out he passes his COVID test, right?
Yeah,
That's right.
Exactly.
Rapid test, baby.
Gotta
You
get
gotta
that
love
rapid
'em.
test.
The rapid test was working tonight. We took six tries to get a positive one or negative one. I mean, but
Yeah, I was positive 8 straight times. That's
but
okay.
we got the negative we needed. So
That's why you're welcome.
yeah. So thanks for jumping in, Jarrett. Really appreciate it. Ryan, let's tell everybody what we did this weekend.
Yeah, I actually have something to talk
Yeah,
about
you
this time,
actually
right?
do. So
Lately
I'll
I've been
let-
like, I have no idea what I did.
I'll let you start us off and tell everybody what we did, and then I'll chime in if I need to. You might have just actually nail it perfectly. We'll see.
Well, yeah. For the first time in all year, I took a day off of work.
Yeah,
So that's step one.
it's a big deal.
Accomplished a goal. Yeah. So
And
we
you-
actually went up to Elk Rapids.
Yeah, you did it to spend it with me too.
Exactly.
I
We
feel
spent some
very,
time together.
I feel very honored by that.
Yep, my wife and I went up there with Sam and his wife, and we spent the weekend just kind of relaxing. I was gonna say relax around the pool and shooting some b-ball, but we didn't do either one of
either
those.
one of
No
those.
pool.
Yeah,
It was just great just to get away. We there was a cottage that we went to. I don't know. I had a good time. Went to some breweries, got some food, and just kind of hung out.
we hit shorts. We did some wine tasting.
Wine tasting was great.
Yeah, that was really fun.
If only what. Jared's got a weird face.
Yeah,
going on
what?
over there.
Just keep going.
What's wrong with our wine tasting?
Nothing at all.
Your
That
wife's,
wasn't what I
your
was
wife's
laughing
from up
about.
north.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's right from up near Traverse City.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
like just
old
a-
mission to old mission. That was the theme of the.
Yeah,
the whole trip.
that was a good one for sure. Yeah, we had a good time. The wives had a good time. We played a lot of cards, which was fun. I think I played
Yeah.
solitaire 700 times.
Did you
And then
won once at
free cell.
least?
I won solitaire once, and I won free cell pretty much every time.
I mean, yeah, free cell so
Is
easy.
that really that easy? I didn't realize it was that
I didn't
easy.
know it was
I
easy.
don't know free
Yeah.
cell. I
You don't know
think I've
free
ever
cell?
played it.
Yeah, it's,
Computer game. You
usually
I'm a
it's a
euchre
computer one,
guy.
but yeah, euchre's good. But Andrew doesn't know how, so
Oh, yeah.
otherwise we wouldn't been able. Does Jill know how?
Euchre, I don't
came
think
up-
she would have done it.
No. But yeah, it was a really good time.
Spitzer is the game that everybody
Yeah,
needs to learn.
you're gonna have to
I
teach
don't
me
know
that
one either.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll have to do that sometime.
Yeah, that sounds fun. Jarrett, can you share with the audience where you've been? So you've been running your own podcast, right?
Yeah,
Can you tell
yeah,
everybody a little
so-
bit about that?
I know for all of you watching, you're obviously Disney fans too. And
Clearly.
So, yes.
We're honestly just using him
Obviously,
so
it all
he shares
ties
it.
together.
He's gonna share all of this podcast with all of his followers.
let's do it.
and
Let's
That's
share it.
right.
listeners, So
All right.
it'll be
State
good.
of MI Sports coming
Yep.
to the happiest podcast on earth.
right?
But yeah, so happiest podcast on earth. If you're a Disney fan, obviously, you need to check us out. We have a lot of fun. A lot of us worked for Disney for a while. We're all friends from there, so we just have a lot of fun. It's not that boring. Just let's talk about Disney news sort of podcast. It is we get down and dirty and laugh and entertain ourselves and play games and all that stuff. So
That's awesome.
it's a lot of fun. I enjoy it, and just became a Disney travel agent too.
Did you really?
So
I didn't know
if
that.
you're looking
What?
to book a Disney vacation,
Oh wow! Just plug it. Do you have like a
hard
yeah.
plug.
You got a promo code that we can? It's like
dude,
a
check
swipe
it out,
up or
baby.
something. We got to swipe up to get the promo.
I'm
code?
not at swipe up status yet.
No.
Our
Swipe
podcast
right?
is, but I'm definitely not
Yeah.
there yet. I
Swipe
just
right
started.
or
so-
left? I don't
Yeah,
know how
I
that
don't
works.
know. Is
Oh,
that-
man.
that's like a
I'm
timber
used to
thing.
probably
Picture
getting
shows up,
swipe
yeah.
left usually. So
No, that's awesome. Very
yeah,
cool.
so definitely excited. So definitely, if you want to check me out, for sure, it's
Yeah.
absolutely free for you to use me to book your Disney vacation.
yeah,
so.
yeah, exactly. That makes sense. Well, it is
Yeah.
time to introduce our Michigan beer for episode 72. But before we do, I want to remind everyone of our partner at Siciliano's Market. They're simply the best beer store in West Michigan, located on Lake Michigan Drive, right between Grand Valley State's main campus and downtown Grand Rapids. Wherever you live in West Michigan, it is worth the short drive for what they have to offer. Whether you know what you want or need, whether you know what you want.
Yeah, we need to rewrite that part.
Yeah, I know. I
Let's
tried
just
to
rework it
whatever you
next week.
Whether you know
They got a lot.
what you want or need some help from their expert staff, Siciliano's Market is the best place for it. They not only have a massive and up-to-date inventory of the best craft beer across our great nation, they are individually priced so you can mix and match to build your own six-pack. They not only have a great selection of craft beer, specialty wines, spirits, ciders, coffee, tea, tobacco, and cigars. Siciliano's Market also has the largest selection of homebrew and winemaking supplies in West Michigan. We love that Siciliano's Market is part of the State of My Sports family, and it is who we visit to help us choose our Michigan beers for each and every episode. Please check them out and let them know we sent you. So this episode's a little crazy. So we had a couple guys back out. Jarrett, I forgot to tell you, we got beer for you. So we have,
It's all right.
how many different flavors of beer? We got 6 different flavors of the beer. Jarrett, I mean, start us off. I didn't even do what I told you we were going to do.
I know, it's okay. I'm going to roll with it.
I think the beer kind of speaks for itself. So you got the Haze and Blue and the Sparty Party. Tell us why you picked that out.
I do. Have you guys rated these yet?
So I've rated both of those.
You definitely have, yeah.
And I think Micah maybe
Couldn't
graded
remember.
one of them. but I'm
Probably the
not
Michigan.
positive.
Amazing Blue.
Yeah.
Probably that one only. He would
All
never
right.
try this.
No,
So,
he would never do
so
that.
that was kind of the big news here. Was the Big Ten.
Yeah.
It's
gonna happen.
Sounds
Well,
like it's
sort
going
of,
to
right?
happen.
It's like
It's
half
not- yeah.
news.
It's like an 8-team schedule or 8-game schedule. It sounds like crazy. I mean, do you have the most up-to-date information before we get into our beer intros? Or
if
no?
you haven't heard anything about the Big Ten yet, so the big news is this weekend they were talking about, all right, we're going to hear something. They're going to vote on it, the presidents and all that of the universities. So the Nebraska, one of their, I forget what his official role is. He's not the president of Nebraska. He is the system president.
Okay.
Ted Carter was caught on a hot mic saying that an announcement will come later Tuesday, which is right now. We're getting ready to announce the Huskers and Big Ten football tonight, he said, with a hot mic. So everybody heard it. And that was just all the news today was everybody was flipping out.
Just waiting.
All right, Big Ten is happening.
I wonder if
Here
he's
we
going to be
go.
the president of the system anymore after that.
Yeah.
It's like, first of all, what kind of title is that? And
Yeah.
second, you just ruined everything
What
good you
is
had
that?
going.
Assistant to the
Assistant to the system.
regional
yeah,
president.
assistant to the system. So, Jared, is that basically all? That's all we have for now. I have a feeling our phones are going to go off mid-show,
Yeah.
and we're going to have to change pace and,
And
maybe talk
that's
about
what
that a little
everybody-
bit. But
That's what everybody's expecting right now. So I've been going through Twitter and stuff, reading, and I'm just excited. I would love if all conferences could play. I'm an SEC guy. That's how I roll. I know. Shoot me. But
It's weird.
it is. I
whoa,
know.
too far.
But I would love for the Big Ten and like Pac-12 to play still. And that was very positive news. So now on Twitter, everybody's just been like, what's happening?
Yeah.
Where's the announcement? We all know it's coming. It would be a very big disappointment if they came out and said we're not playing football at this point, because now everybody's so hyped.
Yeah.
We have,
But that is the news. We're just waiting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
listener Jill says they're going to announce that they have an announcement.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of sums it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So you got 2 beers there,
So-
and you actually you stopped at Siciliano's Market. So
I did.
I didn't lie to our listeners. Like it is where we stopped, and you actually stopped there too. So
Yeah, if
so
you're
tell
in-
everybody what you're drinking, where it's from.
If you're in Grand Rapids, like they say in the old sponsorship here, Siciliano's is great. They have so many options. I was like overwhelmed by how many options they have. But I had to go. I just found it, and I didn't know that they rated this or anything. But Haze and Blue, with just the cool, obviously Maize and Blue can. It's a New England IPA from Big Lake Brewing. And then they also have Sparty Party, which is a juicy New England IPA. So both are from Big Lake Brewing.
Yeah.
I had to do it because of the Big Ten. I was hoping that by the time we recorded, the announcement would have been
Yeah,
made.
right.
So I was like, this is the only reason I had to do it.
By the time this is done, hopefully we have an answer, and then
Yeah.
we'll get a grade from you at the end of the
I
episode.
like it.
All right.
So I am literally drinking. For
Both
those of you
of us.
watching right now,
Double
both are
fisting.
open because I'm just taking a sip by sip of each one.
So that
Comparing
you'll
the
have the
two.
comparison
Right?
by
Yeah.
the end. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is a non-biased opinion because I'm a Gator fan.
Yeah.
SEC
So it doesn't
opinion.
matter what I have here. I don't
Wait,
have
an
a
SEC
favorite.
opinion. I think we know where this is going.
Yeah.
gosh,
yeah,
here
he's
we
like,
go.
these are both garbage.
But
SEC would make much better beer.
both are very
Yeah.
flat. All right, anyways.
All right,
there you go.
Ryan, you're drinking 2 beers over there. We're going to introduce 2 of them.
All right, so the first one is Toasted Brunette Coconut Brown Ale from Trail Point Brewing Company. I've been looking this whole time, the entire time that you were just introducing your 2 beers, Jarrett. I was looking for the percentage on this, the alcohol percentage. I couldn't find it anywhere.
Not on there?
Yeah.
Mine doesn't either.
Really?
I got mine.
Anyways.
Yeah, so I mean, this is, so right off the bat, I can tell you, as a brunette or as a blonde beer, this is good. I just kind of Toasted Brunette, but it's a blonde. Wait a second.
I'm very confused.
Yeah, I am too. I got to rethink.
Anyways,
what I just thought about this beer. I don't know. But what's going on? But there's a
be a fun
strong
episode.
coconut flavor to it.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm gonna introduce the second one here.
All right,
It's Grand Armory Brewing Company. I'm drinking strawberry kiwi grindage. What is this? Come on.
I don't know. They always use that word.
I know they do.
Yeah,
Grand Armory always use that word.
How many times have we talked about this on the podcast?
We still haven't got any answers, so I don't know.
Grand
Armory needs to reach out.
I'm going to go strawberry kiwi grindage. It is a 6.5 percenter.
I think I said grindage last time.
I think you did too.
Grindage.
It's got to be grindage. All right, so strawberry kiwi grindage.
Grindage. All right, awesome. That's from Grand Armory.
Yes.
Awesome. All right, I am drinking. Well, there's 2 of them in front of me, but the first one I'm going to introduce is Green Bush. So this is really difficult, and I'm going to have an answer by the end of the episode. So, Siciliano's recommended Green Bush Brewing Company a few weeks ago, and by the time we started drinking the can, I was like, no, it's Chicago. Like, oh shoot, we screwed up. It's not a Michigan beer, but I'm being told that it's Katie knew that it was they also have a Michigan location. It's not on the can. I should have looked that up before we started recording. But we will get to that. But anyways, it is Star Chicken Shotgun IPA. Like I said, from Green Bush Brewing Company. It's 6.8% alcohol. And so far, I mean, it's got a nice little flavor to it. So that is the one I'm drinking here. And then a very familiar face over here with the Hops Shadow Box. It is their dark lager. I'll actually tell you a little bit more about that when we start getting into our picks and start reading some sponsorship reads with the Hops. We all know how much we love the Hops. So I've actually never graded Shadow Box. Ryan, you have.
I think multiple
times. It was called Schwarzbier, actually.
Yeah, Schwarzbier, Shadow Box. It's their award winner.
Yeah, so I think, Jarrett, you're going to grade all of them by the end of this at some point. Okay. And then we'll grade all 4 of these. Or you grade 2 and I'll grade 2, maybe?
Sure, yeah.
We'll see how it goes.
I'm grading every single one.
Every single one. You have to drink a full one, and you're going to like it,
Find
too.
me passed out on the back patio here.
You're going to like it, too, I tell you.
Okay.
On a summer evening, and it sounds just like a song. I want more berries and that summer feeling. It's so wonderful and warm. Breathe me in, breathe me out.
Here we go.
I'd rather listen to the song.
Yeah, that'll be the full
talk about something.
That'll be the full segment. All right, so let's just start with the recap. Like we said earlier, we were going to talk some Detroit Lions versus Chicago Bears and the results, and recap that game. We're going to talk about the bad, the ugly, the good. And we'll play a little bit of a blame game here as well and see where we put most of the blame on that loss. But anyways, in Detroit Lions fashion, the Lions lost their opener against the Bears 27-23 after being outscored 21-0 in the fourth quarter. Stafford went 24 of 42 for 297 yards, 1 touchdown to T.J. Hawkinson, who had 4 more catches and a total of 56 yards. Stafford had a crucial sack and interception that we'll get into a little bit. But Amendola also had 5 receptions for 81 yards, and Cephas 3 catches on 10 targets, which I thought was pretty interesting.
It's a lot of targets.
For 43 yards. AP had a really good game, and which is awesome. Jarrett, I know you have that's
always
familiar with you.
I take back everything I just said last week.
Yeah, right. Yeah, do not listen to episode 71.
Forget about it.
But he had a really good game with 93 yards on 14 rushes with a 6.6 average. He also had 3 catches for 21 more yards. Defensively, the Lions did a great job holding the Bears to 2 of 11 on third down. I thought that was a really big number there, which is a step in the right direction for the Lions from last year. Trubisky, 20 of 36 for 242 yards and 3 touchdowns, all in the fourth quarter. We'll kind of talk a little bit more about how all that went down. And the Bears ran for 149 yards rushing in the win. Each team had one sack, and the Lions had the only turnover with the Stafford interception. All right, so that is basically the recap. They lost. It was ugly. They got outscored in the fourth quarter, but I think there's a lot to unfold. Look, we're not going to write on anybody's tombstone today or after week one. I think we've learned a lesson to never do that with the Lions, positive or negatively. But there's a lot of negatives. There's a lot of ugliness. But there are some positives that I think we got to take out of this as well. But let's start with the bad and the ugly.
Man, it just feels like same old Lions.
It did.
That was the first thought that came into my head.
It felt like the same old Lions with the loss, but it felt like the same old Matt Patricia Lions with not a very good pass rush.
The way we lost?
I think that and to kind of focus on what I think is missing, that's the first thing that stands out. They had one sack. It was a forced fumble, all that good stuff. But, like, man, even when they got a decent pass rush and we had guys in the backfield, they didn't seal the deal on a guy that they should be. And that's really frustrating.
Yeah, across the board. It was the veterans and the rookie.
Yeah, getting pressure on the quarterback is one thing, which I think, we probably had decent pressure on him.
Yeah.
At times. But when he's scrambling, either for positive yards or getting rid of the football, what good does that do? It really does nothing for you at all. I think, that's really where I wanted to start was with the pass rush, all of that good stuff. But also, just timely missed plays. Another one that came to mind was I think we had 2 or 3 dropped interceptions.
Yeah, who had Coleman had one early in the game.
Who's number 27?
Coleman.
Yeah, that one was such an easy catch.
It was tipped up, and it was like right to his hands, and he just dropped it.
And then was it Tracy Walker that had one? That was been a very athletic play.
I think Tracy Walker won. Like, good luck. Anybody 5 yards away, a guy throwing full speed when you're making a jumping catch, good luck.
But the way it looked, it's like, man, he could have had it.
Yeah, it looked in slow motion.
Yeah, that's true. But another negative, the run defense. So I got
that one hurts.
Yeah, so 49 rushing yards, 4.9 average for Montgomery, 5.9 average for Cohen. Like I was actually surprised that those numbers were that low because look, we were listening to the game on the way home from Elk Rapids.
Yep, on the radio for a while.
But we ended up watching the game as well. But it was like, man, by the sound of what we were hearing on the radio is like. This run defense was getting destroyed.
Yeah.
And that's a big concern going into the schedule.
Well, it was supposed to be something that the Lions turned around, and we know we don't have a pass rush. We added Julian Okwara with a 3rd-round pick.
Where was he?
But that was not, he missed one sack opportunity, really.
Yeah.
But we knew he wasn't going to turn our pass rush around. But that's also not the way our team is built. It's not designed for pass rushes and like speed back around the edges and all that kind of stuff. We have Flowers. He throws his hand in somebody's face. He keeps moving forward, and then eventually, when the pocket breaks down, we have guys there. That's the way our defense is lined up, and then we basically rely on a really good cornerback crew and safety crew to solidify the DBs.
Well, top of that, the linebacking crew.
And the linebacker, see, and that's I think the most disappointing part of the run defense is. Our three. We played a lot of 3-4. That's our defense is built around 3-4. So that means we have 3 people lined up and 4 linebackers. That also means we have basically 2 middle linebackers to patrol and any kind of run, obvious downs. Those are the guys plugging away into gaps. Jared Davis, Jelani Tavai.
Yeah.
And so not only did our defensive linemen not get off their blocks and shed their blocks to make the tackles, we also were getting tackles in the middle of the field, 7 yards down the field. They're getting pushed back at the linebacker position, not filling those gaps, and then getting beat. And we had a lot of safeties making those tackles at the 7 yards on the field or 13 yards on the field over and over and over through the first half.
Yeah, no, I agree. Jared, did you have like any thoughts on those first few topics that we brought up that stood out to you for the Lions? I know you're a Vikings fan, and we won't hold that against you too long.
Go ahead.
But
again, outside perspective. So I did watch a lot of this game. It was tough, but I kind of had like 2 screens going, and I was just interested because I'm an NFC North guy. But it was honestly one of those where, like you said, the run defense. I don't know what happened. Like, I don't think that their run offense is like the Bears is very good.
Yeah.
They're not bad, but they have.
They seem really good to me.
There's no reason. There's no reason why Tariq Cohen, who's a passing specialist, he averaged 5.9 yards a carry.
Yeah.
Like, there's no reason that should be happening.
Yep.
But overall, I think defense played okay, and I think we'll get into this, but a lot of it was the secondary. I think, like, no pass rush and a bad secondary, which there were reasons why the secondary got worse as the game went on.
Yeah.
But those two things right there, and I think, like, to be a successful defense, and I honestly think to win a Super Bowl, I think that's why, like, the Patriots, I think that's why they were so good, is because they can get a pass rush with 4 down linemen. They don't have to blitz a lot, and they can run man-to-man.
That's exactly what
That's it.
And like, you listen to Lions fans, or I listen to Lions fans throughout the day, like, whatever they're all talking, and everybody's frustrated that we're not blitzing enough. Well, like, I get it. It's frustrating when you're getting picked apart with second and third string guys, or really fourth and fifth string guys at corner that are going to get exposed. But it's like, this they're trying to build to not have to blitz,
right?
But they will at times. I think. Sorry, his name, the new defensive coordinator, escapes me. I want to say Bevel. That's not it.
Nope. That's the other side.
So sorry about that. But anyways, I mean, yeah, like, they're trying to build it this way, and you know,
look,
what's the word that I'm looking for?
I don't know.
Being
consistency.
No.
Bend don't
I don't
break.
really know.
You had all kinds of stuff you say. Bend don't break.
I can't even
Versatile
think,
sounds like a great word.
All right, let's start over with that.
But anyway,
I think we need to be multi-dimensional. Is that what you were going to say?
no,
Oh, okay.
not even close. I have no idea. Like,
Look, let's get down really into what happened here.
Yeah,
though,
so let's
because
break it
yeah, where
down.
do you want to start?
3 quarters, we give up 6 points. We're all frustrated about the run defense. We're all frustrated that some guys here and there aren't going to be performing like we expected. We wanted more of a pass rush, but at the same time, we saw those defensive backs. We saw Amani Oruwariye hardly get attacked at all.
Yeah, he had a
At
really
all.
good game.
Yeah, we
Very good
saw
game.
Desmond Trufant come up and make some big time tackles and make some really good plays to break up passes.
Yeah,
We barely saw Coleman do anything except drop an interception.
which is a good thing.
That's
you
a
should
really
see
good thing.
Agreed.
When you see your slot corner, that's when you know he's getting exposed.
And I want to get into this because the stat that stuck out to me the most with this game is Trubisky before the Trufant injury and Trubisky after the Trufant injury.
Do you have the comparison there?
Yes. So before the Trufant injury, Trubisky was 11 for 25, 150 yards, 0 touchdowns. That includes multiple longer plays leading right up to that injury as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that is not good. And we were listening to the radio on the way. When we started watching the game in the third quarter, we saw his stats and we were like, wow, he is actually playing terrible.
Yeah.
And I know there were some open plays, but those are difficult plays at the same time.
Yeah.
So that's not a guarantee for a lot of different, I think we need to give a little bit of credit through the first 3 quarters, and it looks like our defense, the way it was designed, actually kind of pulled it off. Right?
I agree. I think they played
our corners.
They played almost exactly the way I would expect them to play against that team through 3 quarters.
Yes,
before the injuries.
They took away the deep shots down the field, and we forced a whole bunch of throws underneath and difficult throws on the run, and Bears were not converting.
They were the bend and not break defense that they were when they were successful last year, because people forget
3 of the 4 cornerbacks.
Yeah, they were successful last year. They had bend and not break moments, and then they just got absolutely destroyed in these games that made the defensive stats look way worse than I think that they actually were. I think if we get back to, like, and a lot of it is health and having guys on the same page. Like, Slay was he was gone. He didn't even care anymore. He wasn't doing his job. I feel like you have guys that are ready to do their job, and they are built well to be a successful defense. Not a top 10 defense. Not anything that you like
to give Stafford a chance.
Get too excited about. But if you change from 28th or 30th overall defense to a top 15, that is a massive difference in this league. And I think the way that they played in the first 3 quarters before injuries really caught up with them, they showed that they can be that defense. And look, I know it's Chicago Bears. I understand that they were a bad offense last year against everybody other than the Lions, but at the same time, like, it's an NFL team.
Yeah.
A very good offensive-minded head coach that was prepared for this defense. This is the game that you're most prepared for, and the Lions shut him down until they didn't have the players to shut him down.
Look, I again, and even before Trufant, because this stat is pretty crazy with before the Trufant injury.
Yeah.
But even before that, there were 2 plays that got the Bears down the field leading up to the Trufant injury, and it was the drive after Coleman went out, and they had 2 big plays.
Because he did go down first, right?
Yeah, he did, and they had 2 big plays, and they targeted Roberts, who was our backup DB, who came in and actually did pretty well, but 2 of those plays, they just attacked him. It was like you saw the Bears game plan immediately. They went right after the new cornerback that came in.
Smart.
And, I mean, it is. We would all want it to happen.
You have to do it.
And then immediately after that, then Trufant goes down, and who was the next guy?
It was
Let me get
McCray.
you. Tony McCray.
Tony McCray.
Who I learned was the last healthy cornerback they had
Yes.
on the roster. And 2 of the 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter were against McCray.
Yeah, and he was getting
So-
picked on outside of
and
the touchdown.
And
And it
again,
was
that hurt
every
them
pass.
so
Yeah.
bad.
I mean, look, McCray, he made an outstanding special teams play,
That's
which is
that's
what
why
he
we
was
put him on the team.
signed for or traded for. I don't remember which one it was. Probably signed. That's exactly what he's. If he's playing corner, you're going to get destroyed. Period. End of story.
We came in talking about last week or the week before, whenever we introduced the Lions season, we kind of did the season preview.
Yeah.
We talked about the strength of this team, this defense, was the cornerback position. And it was a complete opposite as last year compared to last year because we had Trufant come in and be the Slay replacement.
Yep.
We still had Justin Coleman, who we thought if he was playing his real position, he'd be doing better.
Which he was.
Amani Aurier played very well last year, but now he was in like his breakout year.
He looked great.
And then we just drafted our first-round pick on Jeffrey Okudah, who did not suit up for this. So immediately,
You're
first
missing
game,
3 of your top 4.
3 of the top 4.
Yeah.
And you didn't see one pass towards Aurier down the stretch in the entire fourth quarter. And the stats before, I'll bring it up again, 11 for 25, 150, no touchdowns.
Wow.
And then after Trufant, 9 for 11, 92 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Insane. Absolutely insane.
I think to me, it's funny because we go straight to defense, but I personally blame the offense.
Yeah, I think we'll
I
definitely.
really do. I
Yeah.
think the defense, it is a legit excuse. I hate saying it's because of injuries, but ideally, like the stuff we're talking about, every corner that had to come in and play a bigger role than they were supposed to, they don't have the talent level of those guys. And
Yeah, they
the
don't.
Bears took full advantage, and I give them full credit for doing so.
Yeah, they did.
But they did it. But the offense has some stats, too, that you look at it and you're like, man, what the heck happened?
Before we turn to the offense, I did want to bring up Jamie Collins getting tossed. I think that was
dumb.
It was a dumb thing. Have you seen the replay of that?
I actually did.
I did.
And
It is a weak
It
call,
is weak.
in my opinion.
It's a rule.
It's a rule, but dude, tell me that ref didn't walk into his head.
He wanted something to happen. It
I don't
seemed
know.
like it.
I didn't see that portion. My dad said the same thing. So I don't know if it's just like
It
Lions
real-
fans think he like
No, we've never
went
done
in
that.
and like and chest
I am
like went in
unbiased
with a
Lions
chest.
fan.
But you state the rule. I think you have the rule.
Yeah,
because
yep. So the rule states unnecessary physical contact with the game official under no circumstances is a player allowed to shove, push, or strike an official in an offensive, disrespectful, or unsportsmanlike manner. The player shall be disqualified from the game. The ref basically said, I judged it as unnecessary, so I called a foul. I decided to eject the player. Look, stupid. Very, very stupid. That is the quickest any player has ever been lionized in my entire life. Like, what was it, a quarter and a half, maybe?
Yeah.
Right
And
away.
he's getting thrown out of a game for just being a bonehead. Don't put your head down, and it won't happen. But, dude, watch that replay. It is...
I don't know
like,
what he was
he's
thinking,
trying to, like-
headbutting the ref because
He didn't headbutt
He was
the
just
ref.
gesturing. He was
He was
gesturing,
gesturing,
something.
and the
Gesturing.
ref walked into him.
But no, I do think he purposely hit the ref with his helmet.
See, I don't, because
it wasn't
his,
in a
all right,
Force.
it wasn't in a
So, hold on,
let's see,
hold on.
in an offensive, disrespectful, or unsportsmanlike manner. So that portion, like, I didn't know that. I always thought that if you made contact with an
Contact at
official,
all, yeah.
flag gone.
Yeah, they changed that rule for
So
Ray
Lions.
Lewis.
For Lions.
for the Lions,
No, but
they do
so
that for a
basically
lot
the
of
way
them.
that it happened is so this is the ref. You got the little black and white there with the Schwarz
Oh, well done.
shadow box. But anyway, so this is the ref here. And people that are watching,
Yeah, hold
you
on.
guys
Let me
are
look at
getting
the
some,
Facebook
like,
Live so I can see
incredible.
this. Yeah.
You're getting some incredible replay stuff here. But so
Content. That's what we do.
Jamie Collins put his head down like this, and sorry, you
Good
can't
talking
hear
to
me.
Mike
But,
yet.
so
Put
he
his
put
head
his
down.
head down, and then the ref came.
And then
like
the ref
this way
came
on
like
the
this.
side
I don't-
of his head. He
See, I
didn't
see it a different
headbutt
way.
him. He didn't put the crown of his helmet into the guy's chest. It was like his ear hole. And the ref bumped his ear hole with his nipple, I think, is what I saw.
See, the reaction of the ref is what was funny because it was like a LeBron taking a charge. It was like he like got blown back and it was like throw the flag right away.
That was a ref looking
But
to make a
I
statement.
do think the contact was there. He wanted to show him, listen, this is how he's running with the ball. That's why it's like I get both sides. What's good news is that he won't be suspended next game.
That is very good.
And that also is a testament
And he
that
is
it was
going-
not
so they
intentional.
knew,
Yeah.
and
And
he was
he is-
out most of the game. So
He's going to be a possessed player. He's
Yeah,
going to be
he's gonna
angry.
be
Well,
and when
and-
he plays angry, he plays extremely good.
And
That
he's-
is him.
But he's so key for this defense.
He's their defensive coordinator on the field.
And really, when now that we had to have Jelani Tavai and what's his name?
Doesn't matter. We're
Jared
done with
Davis.
him.
But Jared Davis.
We're done with him.
Both of them were in the middle of the field, which meant that Tracy Walker had to be one-on-one for so many of those
Yeah.
pass plays.
That was
And
huge.
that is where Collins would be.
Yep, he would have been on the tight ends.
That's where he would have been. And then he wouldn't have been muscled around by Jimmy Graham, even though Jimmy Graham's a good tight end.
Yeah,
But he's lost a step, but he's strong. And what did you see? He just pushed Tracy Walker out of the way. Refs are never going to call that on the offense. I understand that. So he just had at will any reception that he wanted against him.
All right, so let's turn it over to the offense side of the ball. They do need to take a lot of this blame here. I think they are more to blame personally than the
I was
defense.
so frustrated with the play calling.
Yeah. All right. So let's start there. Let's start with the play calling, and it probably comes down to more of the fourth quarter. Is that fair to say?
Yeah,
Or
absolutely.
just the whole game?
Well, I mean, you could even say in the first half.
Yeah.
I would even say, I mean, you're going to look at Stafford and say, okay, he had a good game. He did. It was okay. It was nothing great. It was nothing terrible. I mean, you look at his numbers, and I was kind of breaking it down. Like almost 100 of his yards were on the 2-minute drive before the half,
and then
and
start
the
second.
last minute drive
which
or
is
whatever.
what he
And
does.
That is totally
Yeah.
him. The rest of the game, guess what? He's average.
Yeah.
I mean, at least this game. I
Yeah.
know your thoughts with Stafford, but that was his game today.
Well, and
I
that's,
know there's some drops and some things
that's,
here and there. But
Yeah, that's part of my frustration though with this is
play calling.
Even in the first half, and especially in the fourth quarter, you had so many of those plays where he just immediately started running to the right and just going, rolling out to the right, and there was like one option. Like where's the second option on those plays? Because you would see Cephas come across the field, and if he wasn't open, then eventually he would just kind of throw it to him at the very end, and it would just be this contested. We heard it in your intro, right? 3 catches, 10 attempts.
10 attempts.
10
Insane.
attempts, 3 out of 10
Yeah.
to the rookie.
Yeah,
to the
so
rookie wide
there was
receiver.
there was only one drop according to the stats for Cephas, but I mean 10
Why was
targets.
he
like,
going at him
which
so
it
much?
seems
I don't
really
understand.
weird. It
Because he
almost
filled
seemed-
Galladay's role.
It almost feels like that was the case. They planned on Galladay playing. They planned on using him against that defense. It seemed like, and then they were just like, well, we have this designed. Let's see if Cephas can do it. And I don't like that. I think they should have been able to adjust.
I just didn't see any
It's frustrating.
creativity.
I agree,
No.
and I feel like it's handcuffing Stafford. Let him be creative. Let him be the gunslinger that he is. You're gonna throw interceptions. Like, he's not Aaron Rodgers. He's not gonna go three interceptions a full year. That's not the Stafford I want, because I want a guy that's pressable. I want a guy that's being aggressive. Look, I'm gonna get into frustrating
Screw
point
Rodgers.
here in a bit. But at the same time, like, Stafford should be throwing downfield way more than he was in that game. He shouldn't be rolling out.
Yeah.
Let him drop back and just go through his progressions. And I
Well-
think you said it best. Like, he didn't really get a chance to do that because he is on the move. As
not
soon as the
him.
ball was snapped, you just erased half of the field.
Yeah.
Because of the way that the game plan was designed and the play calling was
So
being
there was
made.
one play, and I love him in the pocket, but you're right. When he rolls out, I think things get a little weird. And I forget what play.
He can look really good on
He
the
can
move.
look good.
But
He can.
Designed
Yeah, but-
rollouts. That's
Yeah,
what I have a
it's
problem
true.
with. Because
like
now,
a play action
Yep.
rollout.
yeah,
Yeah.
now you've just capped your play at 4 to 5 seconds.
Yeah, sorry.
Because you run out of space.
I interrupted you.
No, that's
but-
okay. There was like a 3rd and long. It was like 13 or something. And the way Stafford like stepped into the pocket was so beautiful, and he hit someone with like a
Was it on that
14-yard
last
gain.
Drive?
It might have been. I
Or
don't
was
know.
it? No, it was early.
It was like a third
Amendola.
and
It was
13.
Amendola.
Amendola.
Every time that happens, it's
But
Amendola.
Yeah,
his,
it feels
the
like
way
it.
he like stepped in, it looked so beautiful. It was a perfect. He stepped perfectly in the pocket. That's what the line was blocking for. It was a beautiful pass, dart, 3rd and long, nailed it. Like that is him. That is what he can do.
Yes.
He can step into a pass and throw it hard, bullet.
And
boom,
it felt like the
accurate.
play calling was not designed for Stafford. It was designed to simplify it for other players.
We will get to this eventually with the Packers game coming up. But if you watch the Packers game and watch the Lions game, that's part of my frustration is you see the creativity in the Packers offense, what they were able to do against the Vikings. And it was like the most unpredictable. You don't know where they're going. End arounds, to the flat. Like that's what I didn't see for the Lions. And we had a lot of success last year with bringing in some speed guys, Marvin Hall, throwing down the field, or doing those end arounds. And we didn't see that one time in this game. And it was just Adrian Peterson started working, great, but you only fed him the ball, 12 times, 13,
Something like
16
that.
times?
Yeah, I think it was 12.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like we just fed him the ball 30 times. So, that wasn't the game plan all the way either.
Right.
Yeah,
I
it was
just
14
didn't see
10.
I didn't see the aggressiveness. And look, are we to the good? Because I actually do like some of the aggressive calls.
Before we, I think I want to stick more on the bad. Couple more things I wanted to bring up. Obviously the drops. Swift had 2. We'll get into one of those a little bit later.
we haven't even
Never trust a Georgia.
One for Cephas and one for Marvin Jones. I don't think drops were a massive issue.
They didn't play a part in the game at all.
Kerryon Johnson, where was he? I don't expect you guys to have the answer. I think it's worth bringing up, like, what is going on with that?
He's on the bench.
So then I do, like, massive negative
man.
of what happened here. Really, when things started to go down negatively, the sack. I think a crucial moment. It was 2nd and 8 on the Bears 33. Stafford took a 9-yard loss sack before getting the 5 yards back.
That was bad.
And then
Very.
On 3rd down, but then all of a sudden, that was where the missed 55-yard field. Look, I'm going to start just basically going through what happened.
Yeah, we got to get through this eventually.
And then we'll get into some positives as well. They got the 5 yards back, missed 55-yard field goal. What do you think about the decision, that field goal?
All right, personally, I love it. I love it because he made a decision to trust his players and try to win the game.
Yep.
And that's, as a fan, that's all you're trying to ask for. We all saw our cornerbacks go out with injuries at that point. We saw how we were not stopping the Bears, and we thought, okay, do you trust Prater in this situation? And every Lions fan would say yes. He's done it over and over and over again. And you look at that kick; it was beautiful. It just
missed right,
faded.
just a little bit. Yeah.
I completely understand with how foolish it is. I
I
will,
was going to say,
I
I'm
will
on the
go
opposite
there.
I do
spectrum.
understand how foolish it is, but when you have Matt Prater, who hits 50-ish yard field goals in his sleep,
It's like a Justin Tucker situation.
it really is.
Do you trust him?
I would
Yes.
say, like, long distance wise, he might be the 2nd best kicker in the game.
He is. Justin Tucker is the only one that outdoes him.
Yeah. So Jared, you seem to disagree with that.
Yeah, I'm totally on the other side because, listen, they're up 10, 4 minutes left. Regardless, like, yes, a field goal and a touchdown is a whole different story. Okay, so you nail that field goal, but guess what? It's still a 2-possession game. It's not like you're putting the game away with a field goal. So if you're punting the ball away, it's still a 2-possession game, but guess what? Now there's 4 minutes left. They're at maybe the 10 or the 5.
Yeah.
But the chance of you do have a very strong kicker when it comes to long distance field goals. But again, we're going to talk about play calling and how bad it was.
Yeah.
It's a fun way to do it. I love watching a 55-yard field goal when it's my team. Like, okay, this is a big rush, but is it smart? I don't think so.
Okay.
No, it wasn't smart.
these-
But
yeah.
I
So,
like where it came from.
Okay.
I like the
I
trust
see-
that the message that
You
he
can
sent
have
to his
trust.
players.
I'll disagree.
I like the message.
I'll disagree that it wasn't smart. I think you get that 13-point game.
It wasn't smart.
But, I mean, it's easy to say that now. I think it's easy to say that now. But if you go up 13, let's say they go up and score 2 touchdowns. Next thing you know, we're not talking about the drop pass in the end zone.
Right.
We're talking about a game-winning field goal.
Yeah.
So get those points while you can, and that is inside Prater's range. He hits those all the time. He misses maybe 2 out of 20. It would be my guess. I don't know his percentage. It doesn't matter. But I mean, he's going to make those more times than
miss
not.
of his career, I think. No, I agree.
Look, I like being aggressive in that situation.
That's fine. It's
I
fun.
understand that you can argue it, and I think it's an easy argument for a lot of fans. And look, Jared, I'm not calling you out. I've heard this the last couple of days. Like a lot of people, I think it's a lot of hindsight. I really do, because if he makes it, then people think it's the greatest call ever. And honestly, if he punts it and he punts it into the end zone, what is it? A 13-yard difference or something? A 13-yard swing, really. So instead of the 33, you're getting it at the 20. People are pissed about that. So I mean, I think it's a lot of hindsight, and I understand there's several ways to dissect a cat. Is that the right word? Or
dissect the cat?
That's not
as
how
long
to...
as we're not dissecting a dog.
Right.
I'm happy. We can
What is
dissect
the right
as many
word?
cats as we want.
Skin a cat. Yeah, thank you. I was thinking high school.
That's
Oh, I
gruesome.
just do that smell of that formaldehyde or whatever
That
it
was
just
absolutely terrible. But anyway, I mean,
Is it a human body one? In my college, did you do that?
Gosh, like a cadaver. I've never had to.
Oh, I did. Yeah, it was kind of fun.
That's
I would never do that. All right.
Oh,
But anyway,
I need to
so
hurry out of here.
Oops,
right.
did I say that out loud? Yeah.
So let's go through the whole process here. Missed field goal at 55 yards. Went up 10, 4 minutes left. I get you can go either way. So, anyways, 5 plays, touchdown drive, minute 45 or minute 4 off the clock. Now it's 23-20. AP 3-yard run, 2-yard run, interception. 3-point
That's what I
lead.
didn't like.
Okay, I think Stafford made a massive mistake on the throw,
Absolutely.
but at the same
Huge
time,
mistake.
I'm not sure I like the 2 runs. Is that like
It's
that's
so
probably a
predictable.
hindsight thing too, right?
And this is what frustrates me is if you're going to kick a field goal and have the balls to do something as dumb and stupid as that and trust your players, then you need to
trust
on
your
the very
quarterback.
next drive, trust your quarterback
Yeah.
and do exactly the same thing and try to win the game. Instead of just being like, here's a 2-yard and a 2-yard, and then we'll see what happens. It all comes down to this play. That is not what you just signed up for with the field goal try.
Yep, I agree completely with that. That's a really good way to look at it.
It doesn't make
Yeah.
any sense to me.
Yeah, I think there was major questions by running the ball twice. I understand what you're doing when AP is almost to 100 yards, but at the same time,
Play action. They're
play
all
action
just going to dive in.
really,
Do
really
they really
good.
run much play action?
Oh yeah,
The
Stafford
Lions
is
did?
one of the best quarterbacks out of play
Stafford is
action.
one of the
All right.
highest rated quarterbacks with play
He
action,
is-
and
I was
that's
gonna
why he
say,
should have gone
like,
to it.
they
Real.
should, now that they at least have
a threat.
decent weapon.
Right.
I will just on the record, I hate that Adrian Pearson is on the Lions because he is my favorite player of like all time.
That
other
alone
than
makes
Chris
me
Carter.
happy.
But to
It was
see
a
a
great
good
decision from
Viking,
day one.
Chris
I
Carter,
just-
who is always a little bit worse than Randy Moss.
Hey, listen,
Like a lot
I
worse.
just don't want to see Adrian Pearson break any records with the Lions because that's going to be that's even more.
I don't
Yeah.
either because it means he's breaking Barry's records. And
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
true.
I don't want
true.
that. I'd start crying.
All right, but anyways, let's finish this and we can get into some positives so we can wrap this whole segment. We're going long, but I don't care. This is worth talking about.
This is everything we should be talking
yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
maybe
true,
we'll just
true.
maybe we'll just cut everything else. But anyway, so basically they went down, scored after the interception, 2 plays, 27 yards. I mean, they took advantage.
Well, yeah, they
Of-
went
of-
after
of
Tony McRae.
Another
and then,
thing,
yeah, go ahead.
but another thing to bring up quick was Tavai's 5-yard offside penalty. It was a 2nd and 5, so it's not like it was a 3rd one down.
No.
But he jumped offsides, free first down, touchdown. So then let's get in. So that now all of a sudden, Chicago has a 4-point lead. Lions just inside 2 minutes. I think at minute 48. Stafford led a very good drive. He made some big plays, great throws on that last drive, including the throw to Swift with 6 seconds left. Dropped. Like he flat out dropped it. I don't know no other way to explain it.
Unbelievable.
So I think we could talk about this probably for like 5 minutes, but I don't know
But
if
to
it's
break
worth
it down, we got to break it down.
Yeah.
All right, break it down for us.
Breaking
quick.
it down. Okay, we just had our
I'm
hearts.
not going to
we had
argue
our
with you. Mark
hearts-
my words. I'm not going to argue.
We just
anything
had
with
our
you.
hearts ripped out for this ridiculous comeback that we were all thinking like, no, it couldn't happen again. Like it always happens to us. Every single time happens to the Lions fans. Like here we go again, same old Lions. But it's not gonna. No, it did. It did. Now we're losing the game, and now not only are we down, but we're down by more than 3. So we need the touchdown. It did not look good. We were doing the whole 7, 8, 11-yard kind of play down the field.
Yeah.
Then we got a couple big ones
Yeah.
to Amendola. We got one to Hawkinson, I think, right on that last
Possibly,
drive.
yeah.
And then
It's all blurred to me right now. I
and
don't
then
wanna
and then
talk
we
about
pulled it off. Like you and I were in the same room at the same, watching the game, and it was like you didn't even consider him dropping the ball. It was a perfectly thrown ball. He was wide open. It was to his chest. It wasn't like he was reaching out for it. It hit him in the hands. We celebrated. After all that misery, we celebrated.
We did.
And
you were
then,
on my floor.
I know. And then we both dropped to the floor like, wait, what?
Yeah.
What just happened?
I like blacked out when he caught the ball.
I know, and I actually noticed that he dropped the ball before you, and you were still celebrating, and I was in misery even more.
I was like, "What are you doing?" Like, it was off. But anyways, like,
and that's what sucks.
Feel bad for the guy. They made the plays, and I feel like a lot of this would be not talked about. A lot of the negativity would not be talked about. The field goal, everything. If you win this game, if Swift catches the ball, changes everything. And the thing that's really frustrating is the Lions could have learned a really good lesson by the way they finished this game, play calling wise on the offense side of the ball, just getting more pressure. They could have learned a lot about that fourth quarter, and they could have and should have learned it with a win. We never learn anything with wins.
No.
That's so frustrating. Like, that could have been a win, and we still could have learned a lot of lessons. The team could have gotten better and learned from it and won, and it would have been really good, but no.
At least we have the Red Wing. Oh,
we're playing,
no, not the Red. At least we have the
Tiger.
wait, not
shoot,
not Pistons. Yeah. That's what
Michigan.
sucks.
Wait, not yet.
Hold on. Let's check our
Everything
phones.
is in the Lions right now, and we didn't get it.
All
But
right.
you know what? You've got a list here.
Some positives.
No. The blame. Like, what is the ultimate blame?
Wait, can
for
I just
this
drop
loss?
two more here?
Yeah,
two
go
more
for it.
little just
Tidbits. I love tidbits.
blurbs, tidbits. So first off,
blurb
red zone
away, yeah.
efficiency, 2 for 5
That
for the
was
Lions.
a problem.
I think that comes with the creativity that you were talking about, Ryan. That like there is no creativity. 2 of 5 in the end, like to not get in the end zone. That's a mistake. Like especially, I mean, Bears defense is good, but you have to do better than that in order to you have to score touchdowns.
Yeah.
You do. And second off, I think about Stafford, and this is something that just popped in my head, not even in my notes. All right, when you think of 2 minutes left or a minute and a half left, I need to score a touchdown. Stafford's probably in the top 5 quarterbacks that I would trust.
I would say so, yeah.
Where would you put Stafford for? There's 3 minutes left. You're up by a touchdown or by 4 or 5, and you need to have a good possession to run out the clock. Where do you put Stafford?
Well, when you run twice,
Wait, are you
take the ball
talking
out
about
of his
running out the
hands.
clock? I mean, he
No,
can
I'm
hand
just-
the ball off really
Stafford
well.
with a lead with like 5 minutes left. Do you even rank him in the top 15 or 20? Because he's proven time and time. It's not just him. It's play calling and stuff, but that's a whole different spectrum of Stafford.
I think
Isn't
that's
that
the hard
weird?
part.
Like-
Is he outside of I mean, when you compare him to the quarterbacks that are really good at icing a game,
Yeah. He doesn't ice games.
He gets one chance to ice a game though, and it's always a 3rd and 8 or a 3rd and 5. Like,
yeah,
that
but
is
good
all he
quarterbacks can
gets.
do that.
And he does at
They had
times.
7 times last year they could have iced the game.
He
they
was
had the lead
injured for
in the
most of
fourth
those
quarter,
games,
and
by
they
the way.
He played 3 games. I think.
Oh yeah, he did play.
He
That's-
played 8
Well,
games.
and that's okay.
Felt like 3.
That's
but
true.
No, but at the same time, it's like I agree with you. Like, he hasn't proven to be, but I don't think he is the issue. I don't think he's the reason why. I think play calling is the reason why.
Let's get into the
Is the
blames.
Lions, and I think this is a good way. Yeah, let's turn it to the blame. I blame the coaching staff a lot because I think this coaching staff coaches to not lose when you have that big of a lead. You cannot coach to not lose. You have to coach to win no matter what. Be aggressive. If you're going to put the slogan of dagger time on and you're going to put that type of pressure on your players, then trust your players to do it.
But
I think
that's what I thought happened with the
field
55-yard field
goal.
goal.
The field goal did that, but then the rest didn't. I think, Ryan, you absolutely said it perfectly in that way, trust your players to make the plays, kick the field goal. It makes sense. I think it makes sense. But then you go the exact opposite when
it matters most.
When it matters most.
Yeah.
When you only have a 3-point lead. Then you're a little bit more concerned, a little bit more conservative. You're more worried about no.
Well,
don't worry about any of that. Get a first down. Make them adjust.
You're right.
Make them call timeout.
And what I was talking about earlier with play calling is, you don't have Kenny Galladay. He led the NFL in touchdown receptions last year. Okay, this is a rising star in the league. You don't have him right now. So you were trusting a rookie to come. This is when you need to be creative. This is when you go to the bottom of your playbook and you do something 49ers-ish and start doing some crazy end around running plays, and also just open up the game for Stafford.
Or you throw to your tight end who had 5 catches on 5 targets.
And hardly ever even went out for a catch because he was blocking all game.
Yeah.
Because
he had a really good game.
He
by the
did
way.
because he was lined up against what's his name, the big linebacker from the Bears, Mac. He was lined up on Mac a lot.
He was chipping him a lot.
He was chipping him the whole time,
job.
which meant he wasn't out there down the field. But anyways, you have a list here for the blaming of the game.
Yeah.
You say coaching. You also have injuries / ejection on here. You have the drop by Swift. You have the interception by Stafford late in the game. You also have this missed field goal decision. When I'm looking at this, I'm like, any of them. If any of these go right, we need one of them to not happen, and we win this game.
Yeah.
Look at my notes. Say
And
yes,
that's the
yes,
lines.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes for every single
Yeah,
one because
exactly.
it all added into it. I do think the biggest 2 things, it's coaching, it's the plays, and again we talked about. All right, we have a new, what is it like? Patricia's gonna trust his coordinators more with certain play.
Yep.
Is that happening? Because guess what?
It felt-
the same
yeah.
old stuff where it's not just like, okay, we've got a lead. He shouldn't have passed it in this situation over running, or he shouldn't have ran it over passing. I think Ryan's got a point where it's the creativity. There's like, I was looking at the plays in the 4th quarter. It wasn't like they were doing run, pass, punt, and then like, okay, crap, they're just being too conservative. No, they were passing. They were passing a lot. I just don't think the play calls are correct.
Yeah.
And then you talk about that field goal, and then, there were some things that like Stafford did. He shouldn't have thrown that pass for the interception. It was too tight of a window.
Yep.
Again, like,
honestly, if
sack,
he doesn't
he
throw that
shouldn't have taken
interception,
that sack.
changes everything.
As
Yeah.
much as it stops the
No, but
clock,
it's all
he
of
should have
them.
just thrown it out.
Yeah.
It's every single thing.
But there wasn't.
But this was last year too, where like you had 7 games last year where you had a lead in the 4th,
Yeah.
and you blew it. And guess what? The first game of the season, you do the same thing, and not just blow a lead. It's a big lead.
It's a huge lead, and it felt like it couldn't even happen because of the way the game was being played either.
Right.
It's not like it was a fluke.
And the injuries did. That was my other thing.
Huge.
Like
Huge.
injuries.
Made a
Everybody,
huge difference.
every team has injuries, but you could.
Literally,
the
McCray.
Bears took full advantage of McCray.
I
just
know.
And,
was
and it's
not
so funny
good.
because,
He just was not
like, I hear all of these arguments. Like, you get one quote unquote Detroit sports expert that says, the right adjustments weren't made, and then you got another guy saying, well, they made the adjustments, but they weren't the right adjustments. Then the other one is using the Bears argument of like, yeah, they really shut us down, but then when they adjusted to X, Y, and Z, we were able to expose them. It came down to injuries.
Yeah.
Period. End of story.
Yeah, I mean,
Like-
you saw the man-to-man. McCray got beat on that. Then they went zone, and then Awari properly switched,
Yeah.
and McCray did not, and he got beat on that.
Right.
It's like you couldn't win.
Basically,
they were
the-
attacking him every time.
Basically, the answer is all of the above. I'm not going to be the Lions fan that's like, well, injuries were the reason we lost that game, because Stafford's interception was the reason we lost.
Yeah.
The missed field goal was the reason we lost.
The lack
Like,
of
the-
any misdirection
but-
at all, and the lack of like moving receivers around ahead of time and pre-snap, like
This
you didn't
is-
see any of that.
But then
creativity.
it
This
really
is a typical
came
Lion.
down
this
to
is a Lions
And that's
loss.
why
a
the same old line.
dropped
It's the same
pass
old-
in the end zone. It came down to
Exactly.
that,
And
which is
after all
insane.
that,
the
we could've won.
easiest one out. Yeah,
I know.
there you go.
I had friends that said, well, we shouldn't have been there in the first place. You can't blame it on him. No, I can.
No, we were
You
there.
can.
because they would have won.
Yes.
That's
you,
it.
You can and you should.
I can literally look at that single play and said they would have won that game
Yep.
because of that play.
Yep.
But
All right.
anyways, keep going.
All right. So, anyways, there is some good, and unfortunately, I mean,
We're not going to talk about this long.
We're going to have to move quick, right?
Move quick.
All right. A couple things I wanted to bring up. Cephas getting targets. Like we brought it up kind of as a negative, getting 10 targets. I think it's a positive. Stafford's trusting him, and rookies usually don't get that type of attention.
Yeah, it's true. It looks like he's got a good relationship with Stafford right now,
And he's where he's supposed to be in his route and
Yes.
on the field in all of those situations. The trust is there that he's going to be there, and that is way better than I would have imagined with this pick.
And if
this point.
Galladay is around and he's like a fourth option, take it every time.
Yep.
Don't throw him as number one.
Yep. Adrian Peterson, 114 total yards. We already got into his rushing yards with what I think was
Can I say
93.
Can I say what's nice about this though? Because last week I kind of just I hated this pickup because I thought it was going to take away from Carryon, take
I
away
didn't.
from Swift, take away from all the good that we were trying to build with these young players. But now I'm looking at this I was completely wrong. I'll just admit it. Swift loses the game, literally loses the game for the entire team.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody can tell him as much as they want that he didn't lose the game. There's all these other. No, he lost the game.
Yep.
And he knows it.
Yeah.
He's not dumb. He lost the game.
Exactly. Nobody's that stupid.
But you know what? Adrian Peterson is right there, and he didn't say he didn't lose the game. What did he say? He said, you got to forget about it. You got to move on. There's plenty of opportunities. And now I'm looking at this and saying, man, I'm glad Adrian Peterson is there telling this kid that and not Kerryon Johnson.
Right.
Because Kerryon Johnson's looking at this as
not
like
Bo Scarborough.
my opportunity to play, and Adrian Peterson's looking at this as, no, kid, learn from what I've had to go through.
Yeah. Look, you lost us that game. Get over it.
Yeah.
Right.
Be a man.
Well, and he rushed for 93 yards.
Yeah.
Well,
that's
two
not
things
good.
about my
AP.
boy AD all day.
No, AP. I will never call him AD.
AP.
It
That
drives
is
me
my
nuts.
boy. I love him, but the way he runs, I'm telling, I don't care what team he plays for. That man, he will maybe dance for like a second behind the line, but when he sees a hole, is there anything more exciting to when you see him just he plants his foot and
So
he just
good.
goes.
We
Like,
saw it.
So good.
that's the best part. Is like, I mean, now you get to see. I mean,
As a
what we got to
positive,
experience,
right?
like. There's that kind of running where it's not like dancing, you know, like Le'Veon Bell's kind of a whole different run, like different kind of style, and like all these, tiptoes.
Yeah.
Big
Like
back.
I'm telling you, there is something about the adrenaline of like you see him plant, and you know he's not dancing anymore, he's going hard.
Yeah.
But I will say a lot of his yards that he had, props to the offensive line because
good
there
point.
were big holes. Like I saw I think his two biggest runs, I don't even think he got touched on the line. He planted his foot, went through a hole, but he didn't even get touched till he got to the secondary. So
And that was
that
even
line
without
was big.
that was even without Vaitai,
Yeah.
which I think is massive. He's going to make a huge difference, I think, on both running and pass blocking, all of those things.
Well, you just like the depth, and you didn't hear it all about Jonah Jackson, the rookie left guard.
good.
You
I
did
don't want to
not
hear about my guards.
him, and perfect.
That's
yes,
a great
don't hear
thing.
about him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
they
think
did their job, and we can be proud of that.
Offensive
Most
line-
of the time, we
That's
talk
probably a
about
good
this
call. If
offensive
you
line.
don't hear anything about them, that means they're doing their job.
Yep, and that's exactly where I think the
But we'll give
offensive
you a
line
shout out,
as
big
a
boys.
whole, yeah,
Yeah,
right.
bud.
The offensive line as a whole, I think, was a massive positive and something to be excited about. Like, because it'll only make your team better as they continue to go. So I completely agree with you. I think that was a great point. I think AP, sticking with AP and the offensive line, I think that created a balanced offense. I think that is something that is nice to see in Detroit. We don't see that a whole lot. That was great. So we had 288 passing yards and 138 rushing yards. I think that's perfect against a really solid defense. I don't want to underestimate the Bears' defense.
Yep, that's true. They have a really, really good defense, and their cornerbacks are good.
Yeah.
And that's one reason you didn't hear
Mhm.
from Marvin Jones Jr.
Yeah.
very much
He was
either
shut
because
down.
he was locked up.
Hawkinson, 5 catches on 5 targets. That's always great to see. I think Stafford was good enough. He was good at times. Obviously, the throw is disappointing, but did exactly what he needed to do to win that game. Awarrier, I think, looked amazing. We kind of already brought it up earlier. You didn't get mentioned a lot, didn't get attacked. I think if he can be your number 3 once people get healthy, that is. Look, we brought it up a little bit before, even in the our preview. But one last thing that I want to bring up as a positive was special teams. I thought they looked good, other than the missed field goal. Obviously, Prater looked like his normal self. He hit 3 field goals. Rookie punter Jack Fox had 4 punts with a 49.3 average, 55-yard long, and 2 inside the 20. Obviously, you'd like to see a couple of those laying inside the 10. But Agnew also had 1 punt return for 16 yards and 2 kick returns for 66 total, 8 with a 33-yard average. Just good enough.
Yeah.
The way I look at special teams is if you're not hurting, you're helping.
Yep.
And they didn't hurt us. I think there was only 1 penalty that I remember. I think on a punt return maybe. But I mean,
You're
other
bound
than
to
that,
get one at
yeah,
some point.
Yeah, I think.
And
the-
Agnew's led to that huge TD before the half, so that was a big return. Otherwise, I don't even think they get to the end zone.
Yeah,
for that.
you're probably right. I think special teams is good, and I was really concerned about the special teams heading in. You got the new coordinator without any preseason games. I think that's huge. Like, preseason's really big for special teams. I thought they played well enough, and
Tony McRae.
yeah, he had a great play on a
freaking
punt.
McRae.
Yeah, here we go.
Last we hear of that.
Ready? had some for week 1, but we were let down. But we still have some high hopes. We still have some high hopes for week 2 against the Packers. Maybe
He's like
we'll
motioning.
see. Yeah, it was
I'm like, what are you talking? I'm bringing the volume
Whoop.
down. Like,
high.
what do you want from me?
We have
We
some.
have no hopes.
All right. So, anyways, so we're gonna preview the Detroit Lions versus the Green Bay Packers for week number 2. We'll start with basically what the Packers did last week against the Vikings. I thought they looked really good, and luckily we have a Vikings fan here to
Don't want to talk about it.
echo that if he's willing. Easy win. They won 43-34, and I mean it really wasn't even that close, was it, Jarrett?
Yeah, it was. So you can go through numbers. Offense for the Packers looked very good. Defense for the Packers, at least for the first quarter and a half to probably the first half, they looked very good.
Like it seemed like big plays, right?
And
Whenever they needed them.
That's it. And then it just, second half, it was a shootout. It was literally just every time we scored. I say we all the time as a fan, but
There's nothing wrong with that. I say that
always
all the
do
time,
it all
and
the time.
I don't
Listen,
apologize.
I dedicate a lot of time to my Vikings, so I deserve to say we.
Yep.
But we scored,
Yes.
and then it would give me a little hope, and then the Packers would just drive and score, and then guess what? We would score again. We get not to mention we get a 2-point conversion, which would just make it worse, and we kept getting 2-point conversions.
Yeah, you
meaning-
got like all of them, right?
It meant like, okay, we're slowly inching forward, but the Packers would just continue to score. So defensively, we were terrible. The Packers looked amazing on offense.
Yeah, so Rodgers tore it up. He went 32 of 44 for 364 yards and 4 touchdowns. Adams, 14 receptions for
Yeah.
156 yards. And Valdez-Scantling, he was a productive number 2 with 96 yards on 4 catches. So, I mean, you watched the game obviously closer with a different eye than us. Was it just you guys don't have the corner to shut down Adams? Is that basically what it was?
So, and this is where I kind of wanted to relate to this podcast. So I can totally blame the defense on this one. Like we scored 34 points. Like that. A lot of it might have been because the Packers maybe let their foot off the pedal a little bit, but like at the same time, I do think our offense did click. It just took them a little bit. It's the first game of the year, whatever. But our defense, guess what? No pass rush. We don't. I mean, we lost Everson Griffin. We lost Linval Joseph, who was our run machine. He was Pot Roast or whoever. What did you have last year? Snacks.
Pot Roast.
Remember Pot Roast from like
That's his new name.
the Broncos?
No idea who Pot Roast. Never heard that before.
The Broncos or whatever. They
I
had
have
Pot Roast,
no
that big
idea.
fatty. Anyways,
Sign him up. We'll
Travis
take him.
Nickel.
Sounds awesome.
Travis Nickel.
Yeah, he would
Pot
know
Roast.
Pot
You would know
Roast.
Pot Roast.
He would know
Oh,
Pot
he's actually watching. Oh, he's not.
Okay.
He's not watching.
But anyways, no pass rush. We lost Daniil Hunter. We lost, and again,
Can you
sorry.
turn his mic off.
sorry.
We're not looking for like a
Yeah, like a Vikings
recap. We're-
pregame.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
No, but listen.
I don't want your excuses.
this all
of
relates.
why.
This all relates.
Okay, all right, we'll get to it.
Sorry, I don't ever get to really vent. I don't
have a
live near
Vikings
any
podcast.
Vikings fans, so most of my teams I keep it to myself.
You randomly pick him. No, we know.
But no pass rush. Again, lost Everson Griffin, lost Linval Joseph, Daniil Hunter, who is our best pass rusher. He's out due to injury. He hurt his neck. So like no pass rush, and guess what? Our D backs are very, very young, and I think some of them are decent. They're pretty good, but we lost Xavier Rhodes, and we lost a lot of good talent when it comes to that. We have a good safety. I love Harrison Smith, one of the best safeties out there, but like this showed in this game. What?
Nothing. Keep going.
What's going
Just
on? Why are you
listening.
laughing?
Because we're still talking about the Vikings.
Okay, sorry. No, it all relates.
It all relates.
Listen,
Let me tell
it
you
all
more.
relates.
My bad, man.
Anyways, no pass rush. Weaker D backs just due to, I'd say, lack of time in the NFL. Does that sound familiar?
It sounds exactly
Because
what
that
the
is
Lions
what
will
the
be.
Lions are.
Unless they get healthy on the
They don't have
on
a-
the back end.
They don't have a pass rush. They don't.
Yeah.
Flowers is their best pass rusher, and I think he just goes hard at whoever he's facing. He's not a great pass rusher.
That's not even his game.
No,
he's not
it's
trying
not.
to get to the quarterback. He's an all-around defensive end. So if
Yep.
that's your best pass rush,
Yeah.
and that's what we talked about I mean, we talked about it at length.
We did.
Yeah.
And then, when it comes to your secondary, at least with the Lions, guess what? You will have injuries. We already know that. That's going to be for week 2 as well. You might get one person back, but overall, I think you have a good safety. I think Walker. played.
Tracy Walker's
He played
he's a good safety.
very good.
Yeah, he did. He did.
I think a couple tackles for loss, like all this for this first game. So like that is our defense. Welcome. And guess what? They torched us for 43 points. So I think that's going to relate to this game. I think the Packers. I'm not going to do a prediction until the very end.
Not yet.
But as far as offense versus defense goes, the Packers should have their way with Lions.
Yeah,
defense.
I think there are a lot of negatives that I see going into the game. The Packers offense, I mean, they just, against the depleted Lions defense, it is scary. Yeah. It is very scary what could happen. Now, I mean, if Okudah can play, if Trufant can play, that changes things. Because I think you have a couple guys in there that can be the shutdown corners, so you might be able to get that pass rush. But, I mean, let's face it. If you don't have a pass rush against Aaron Rodgers, he's going to pick you apart one way or another. Yeah. Like, that is the key against the Packers. I think we've shut him down the last couple of years with a decent enough pass rush.
Yeah, sort of, though. It wasn't even, like, strong pressure. It was just consistent pressure.
Yeah, it was
and it was eventually. So if you lock up their...
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Well, if you lock up their lack of wide receivers, if you lock them up for a little while, which if we have the talent, we do have the talent on the Lions at DB to pull it off. So if we just delay his first and second options a little while and allow the Trey Flowers to eventually get there, allow our pass rush blitzing, Jared Davis eventually to do that kind of delayed blitz thing. Julian Tavai, Julian Aquara, hand even. Like we can get there eventually. We have some pretty good pros on that's not their specialty. We've gone through it. We can do that. And in the last year, both games, that's what we did.
Yep.
We shut down their wide receivers for the most part, and then they struggled to move the ball.
Yeah. No, I think the way that the Lions have in the past shut down Rodgers is not give him and I'm probably going overboard, with the 6 seconds consistently. Yeah. Like, I think the Lions are consistent. Like, what against the Packers last couple of years, it's like you don't have the 2 seconds, like, oh my gosh, like, just smoked. Like, but it's consistently, you have 4 seconds absolutely max. You know what I mean? You're not getting 6 seconds, and I'm, again, I don't know the time. Like, what is a normal pass rush? I have no idea. But it's like, it's consistently, the ceiling is not enough time, basically, for the corners you have. You know what I mean? Am I explaining that right?
Yeah.
Where you're consistently good enough, but not great. And I think that's what you need to be in this game.
Yeah.
If your corners are healthy.
Yeah.
If they're not healthy, you have to cut that in half and absolutely put pressure on Aaron Rodgers and make him uncomfortable.
We saw Amani Oruwariye come into his own this last game. We saw at the end of last year, too, he has the confidence of being a starting cornerback in this league. And that's what we heard out of training camp, is that he was impressing so much that Okudah had his hands full. And this was the best corner in the draft, a guy that had, all the confidence in the world coming out of Ohio State and was known as a playmaker and aggressive and all this other stuff and being able to tackle and everything. And Oruwariye was beating him out.
Yeah.
And this is our number 3 corner with Okudah as number 4. This is, again, was our strength of the season. And now we have Justin Coleman on IR, which means he won't play for the first 3 weeks.
Yep.
Right? And then we're going to this game with the unknown of Okudah, and the unknown of Trufant, and we're scrambling to try to sign a cornerback so that what's-his-name doesn't have to play.
McCray. Roberts.
You know what I mean? Roberts wasn't even that bad.
He wasn't
Roberts
that bad.
The guy,
but if they chose to make him that bad, he could be that. You know what I mean?
But after that display from McCray, like, he was just in over his head. He's not there for that. He's there for special teams. He was the backup to the backup to the backup.
Yeah.
We cannot have him start in this game.
Yep, Rodgers is scary. I think the threat of Aaron Jones is still there as well. I think we've done a good job containing him for the most part.
Well, that in the first drive, the Packers did 3 end-arounds. They did 3 full reverses, and they kept that motion the entire game. They did reverses every single drive they had. They had misdirection constantly, guys on motion constantly, so you don't know where their stud Adams is going to end up. You don't know where he's going to be on the field. You don't know if even if Coleman was healthy, you don't know if he was going to be the guy. So now you're adding in all these unknowns on top of lack of experience, on top of injuries, on top of everything else. It's just hard to feel good about this.
It's
going
to be tough.
Yeah, but sorry, go for it.
No, yeah. So again, just real quick, like last year, I mean, Packers beat us twice, but both times I felt very confident as a Vikings fan. Like we were playing better, but it was a defensive battle. It was literally Aaron Rodgers did not look great against us at all in both games last year. This year, guess what? Again, we lost our pass rush. Our secondary is weaker. And Aaron Rodgers, if you give him time and he can pick apart, he's a bad man. What is it? He's a bad man. So, like, and again, the comparison, I'm used to having a good defense in Minnesota, but I feel like your defense depleted for the Lions is very similar to what our defense looks like, at least this first week. That's why it's very scary.
Yeah.
And then you flip it around. We can go, obviously, Detroit's offense versus the Packers defense.
Yeah.
I don't think people give the Packers defense enough credit. They are good. They
scored 34 points against them.
But again, it was after a while where I don't know if it's one of those. They were very good last year, and people didn't want to give them enough credit just because I think Aaron Rodgers just didn't look good. So, like,
he looked
all around, people just think the Packers didn't look good. But guess what? They still won a lot of games in a
luckily
20-10 game. Like, they were holding people
like 20
to
to 17.
So, okay, so damn it.
They were the second overall seed.
They didn't win by 2.
Just
they didn't win
but they
much
didn't score
by
a lot
two,
of points in a lot of games.
No, but I think the offense is obviously scary. But I agree that their defense is solid enough, but I think the Lions offense matches up well against them. Like, you guys move the ball well against them, right?
Yeah,
after the fact, maybe. But I mean,
well, that and running the ball too. You had success early in the game running the ball.
If Kenny Golladay can play, this offense is absolutely deep, and I think we are going to get into some positives. I don't want to say this is doom and gloom 100%. Yeah. Look, I mean, you look at the defense against the Lions' defense against the Packers' offense. It's scary. It's very, very scary, and I understand that. But I do believe that the Lions' offense can keep up with them if that's the way that they decide to play this game. And if Galladay's healthy, it makes a massive difference. And the running game was good for the Lions. I don't know. I don't want to overlook this game and say it's a 100% loss, because when you have this type of offense, you're going to be in a game.
Yeah. Yep. And we had 3 cornerbacks out. And we had Collins out.
Right.
So, I mean, we don't know what this defense looks like.
Maybe you can get 1 or 2 back. Maybe you don't get anybody back. And
we're getting Collins back. We know that.
Well, true.
Collins is back.
Bury his helmet in another
and then
with
from what I heard today, Trufant and Okudah they're still hopeful about both of them, which doesn't get me too excited.
I don't like Okudah with a hamstring thing. That makes me nervous.
And his first game, like, as an NFL, and he's probably going to have to cover if Trufant's not back. You got to play Adams.
That's really
good luck.
Warrior will be.
Good luck.
I like a Warrior.
Hey, just real quick, thank the Vikings, because I don't know how bad the injuries were, but the left and right guards for the Packers are hurt.
So maybe we'll get a pass
Also,
rush.
the defensive tackle, Kenny Clark, was hurt as well. So if they're all out, guess what? Both guards out on the Packers.
Thank you, Vikings.
Hey, we got you back, baby.
NFC
North. We got to stick together.
Take them out, baby.
I think I brought that up. Like, they're going to be in a blood battle.
Yeah, maybe you can get some pressure on them.
But you know what? The
Lions
Lions also gear up for these games. Last year, the Lions had no business being in the game at the end of the year with the Packers. They are, because this is Lions Packers. They gear up for
it. That's the Lions.
I think seeing Thielen, he had 6 catches for 110 yards, and if Kenny G can play, I think this wide receiving core is
Kenny G can play.
Is that the expectation? Is he's going to be healthy for week 2?
In my opinion, he is playing.
He
should have played last week, and he's going to play this week. Hamstring is no excuse.
Vitae too.
How do you have so many hamstrings injuries?
Well, you just had 2.
You guys literally run for a living, right? Like, these guys run and sprint for a living.
Grow hamstrings.
Well, they should stretch, right? That's all it takes is stretching.
I mean, where do the hamstrings come from? You grow them. Yeah.
I also like Hawkinson, the matchup. I think that the tight end could be a massive help for the Lions.
That was a good matchup.
Adrian Peterson.
He's open a lot.
he makes it more of a threat. Who knows what kind of threat, but we'll see. I think special teams. Sorry, go for it.
Well, I would really, really want DeAndre Swift to be involved early in this game. Let him forget about what happened. Get him involved early so he's not over there on that sideline feeling nervous.
Yeah.
That's the last thing I want for a rookie running back who's good and who we need to
be good.
Be good. Yeah, we're relying on this guy.
Where's Carrion? I still don't. What's the
way
question?
too talented to be so terrible.
He's
so terrible.
Like, to me, it's
so
is he bad?
He's not.
No, he's actually been good when he's healthy. He's just never been healthy.
Yeah.
But last week
he looked
healthy
bad. Last week.
He looked bad last week.
I was gonna say, why was he not in the game at the end?
I don't know.
Like, why wasn't he making that catch at the end?
Well, because Swift's definitely the better receiver out of the backfield.
Okay.
But anyways, I think special teams, and I don't want to like say the Lions special teams are better than the Packers special teams because it's not really a head-to-head matchup. Yeah. It's your special teams is executing, and I think the Lions special teams executed really well. And I think as long as that's the case, it's not going to hurt you. You know what I mean? Like it's just don't hurt you special teams. And I think the way that they looked last week is awesome. The way I just look at this game is the Lions just need to get healthy in the cornerback position to have a chance. I'm not saying they're going to win even if they are healthy. I'm just saying that's the only way you have a chance. Because if you have these guys, you have these cornerbacks in the secondary alone, like Aaron Rodgers is salivating.
Yeah. Not
having these guys in the game.
Yeah, and Lazard and those guys for Green Bay.
Valdez, Scantling.
Yeah, let's let them beat us. That's the way I'm really thinking about this. Like Aaron Rodgers can throw it up and throw a perfect ball all he wants, but Lazard had his touchdown last week against the Vikings was pretty awesome. Actually, the catch was great, phenomenal catch. But I would live with those kinds of touchdowns, playing one-on-one with those guys all day long, than I would just letting Aaron Rodgers sit back there for 8 seconds and tear us apart. So I want put some pressure, lock up Adams, and let those other guys beat us.
Yeah, the last thing I wanted to bring up is keep in mind that the same officials that hosted the Lions game on Monday Night Football against the Packers last year are the same same referees. So expect.
I'm glad that happened. Fairness.
Flowers to get his third and fourth hands in the face penalty of his career.
Still one of the worst officiating I've ever seen.
That's so bad.
Turn my mic off.
Written in these walls are the stories that I can't explain. I leave my heart open, but it stays right here empty for days. She told me in the morning she don't feel the same about us in her bones. Seems to me that when I die, these words will be written on my stone. And I'll be gone, gone tonight. The ground beneath my feet is open wide. The way that I've been holding on too tight, with nothing in between. The story of my life, I take her home, I drive all night to keep her warm in time. It's frozen. The story of my life, I give her all, I spend her love until she's broken inside. The story of my life, written on these walls are the colors that I can change. Leave my heart open, but it stays right here when it's
We are going to touch on the Detroit Tigers because last time we talked, they were 500, 2 games back. Not so fast.
Watch out.
The last 10,
White Sox.
they were 3-7. They are 20-26 overall and are 5.5 games back from the second wild card, with 13-ish or 14 maybe games left. This was before tonight. I think it's safe to say, it was fun. It was fun while it lasted.
Yeah.
But lose. Just lose, please. Let's just make that draft pick a little bit better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? We're not going to do anything. We're not good enough. It was cute. It was fun. but it is done, and that's basically where I'm at. Now, I do want to kind of get into. I'm not going to turn them off. I'm still going to watch because there are some prospects up. There are some arms to keep an eye on.
There's actually some fun players to watch.
And that's really what I wanted this conversation to be about. What are we looking at down the stretch? Because it's not going to be about getting in the playoffs. It's going to be about development. And it's going to be about guys that are earning spots for 2021.
Yeah, and you know what's kind of funny is last week we did not get into Tigers talk, right? But you had him on the list, and you actually had a question on there that I thought was a pretty good question and something to think about is, would you rather have the Tigers lose out for the rest of the year and chase that number 1 overall pick, or make the playoffs? We know they're no good. They're going to lose right away in the first round, and they just get swept in the first round and they're done. What would you rather have? And I've kind of gone both ways. I started with saying that, like, I'd rather them lose out for the number 1 overall draft pick. Future, that's what we need. And then the other side of it is, well, you know what? If they made the playoffs, that means these other guys, the hitters that we've been waiting to see who is going to progress, would be stepping up and turning into real big leaguers.
Yeah.
So then that would be a good sign for the Tigers franchise overall in the end too. And now I'm like, you know what? Either one's fine, because like at this point we've seen who has stepped up. But we also want them to lose, and they're not going to get the number 1 overall pick, but increase your draft pick overall.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with either one, and I kind of like the position the Tigers are in. Are they good? No, they're not good, but we're seeing that they're at least professional level. They're not a AAA team out there playing against big leaguers.
Yeah, so keep your thought in mind, and you'll go down that road. I just want to share with the audience basically where we're sitting. So 5.5 games back to the second wild card, 6 games out of first overall pick though. For I think it was Pittsburgh Pirates. So there's only 5. There's only 5 teams with less. There's only 5 teams with less wins than the Tigers. At least going into today, I think Tigers probably won. Pittsburgh with 6 less. Boston, Texas, Washington, and Arizona with 3. So yeah. The first overall pick's probably gone. But what about that second overall pick? That is still something to keep an eye on. And look, standings watch for losses, in my opinion. Like, hopefully these guys start winning. We can move down in the rankings and lock up a better pick and see where we end up. But go down your thought. Like, where were you going with that? And I just want to share that. But
yeah, I mean, look, again, I think if the Tigers end up winning and they're not close to this first overall pick, it's because guys like Candelario, Jonathan Schoop, he's a guy that we don't really care about. We ship him out. We should have traded him at the deadline. It is what it is.
Yep.
Isaac Paredes, Isak, I guess his name is.
Isaac.
I've been wrong about that for years.
It's Isaac.
Isak Paredes, again, he needs to step up, and he has been stepping up. Victor Reyes, he's hitting over 300 in the leadoff position.
Love it.
He's been a stud for this team. If he can, and it's guys like this, diamonds in the rough, where Victor Reyes, we were not counting on him to start this year. At the beginning of the year, we also talked about the Castros, right? Willie Castro was part of that. Willie Castro has been in the bigs, playing shortstop in place of injured Goodrum.
Who came back today.
Who came back, and I hope he does not take Willie Castro's time, because Willie Castro has earned it. And these are guys that, like, Willie Castro's hitting 337. He's been great. He's hitting out of the 5-hole. If you can make these guys, give them the confidence to be big leaguers going into next year, we already have these draft picks coming up, this stud class of last year hitters, all hitters pretty much last year, all hitters again this year. As those guys are growing, we get big-time prospects coming up again with these Willie Castros, Jeimer Candelarios, Victor Reyes's. These are the guys that we needed to step up to be deep in our 7 and 8 hole. And that's what we've talked about all year long, is you would love for a Jonathan Schoop, instead of hitting 2nd or 4th in your lineup, you would love to have a Jonathan Schoop hitting 7th or 8th.
Yeah.
It's what we used to have with Johnny Peralta back in the day.
That's what we should have, yeah.
Yeah.
So that kind of brings up a question here that happened today. So we have all of these diamonds in the roughs, let's say. But then, so they send down Grayson Greiner, and we have these quote-unquote prospects that we're trying to learn more about. Why is Grayson Greiner getting sent down? And I'm not saying Grayson Greiner should stay up,
good, yeah.
But why are we calling up Eric Haas or Hayes or whatever his name is, who's not even a top 30 prospect, over I mean, Dylan Dingler, Jake Rogers, like, what is the point of that? I feel like what you just said is perfect, and it's what this team's been doing. And then this call-up seems like, why? You had an opportunity to bring up a potential catcher of the future or someone that could produce in the future, and you bring up a guy that's not even our top 30 prospect, and we're going to try to see what he has? Like, what is the point of that?
Well, because it's baseball, and these prospect rankings mean only so much. And mostly they mean a lot for pitchers because it means they have good stuff. But you look at hitters, like a guy, if Jake Rogers is not hitting, he's not going to start suddenly hitting and figuring everything out at the big league level. That's not how baseball works. So if Eric Haas is our best option and you want to see what we have in Eric Haas, a random player in the system, then I'm all for that. I don't think that's something to get hung up on because they're going to take the next guy available. It's not like they're keeping Casey Mize down, who is clearly the next best option for the pitching staff at the time. They're not bringing up some random guy like Eric Haas in place of him. This is a Jake Rogers. It's not like Jake Rogers is a huge prospect in the Detroit system. So I don't know if that really answers your question or not, but
I'm kind of on the same boat. So like the rankings can be a little skewed, and again, you look at an organization, they see things a whole lot more than what whoever ranks these, whatever it is. Like, okay, you're right. Like Dylan Dingler to us, that's probably the most talented. We've seen the most talent come from that person. But yes, Dylan Dingler could be hitting, I mean, if there was minor leagues right now and everything, he could be hitting 200 with 1 home run and whatever. We're still going to have him 8th because we know what he can do. Whereas I might have Eric Haas here, who's, guess what? He's hitting hotter. He's been playing very well.
Well, he's ready for his chance, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
they're at
just
different levels.
That's exactly where it's at, where it just, they can see where they're at in their head and where they're at in their overall talent level. Eric Haas they might see him more pro ready than Darren Dingler. So like, that's the only reason. You're not just going to always throw your best prospect. Okay, guess what? He's our 8th guy, not our 12th, so we're going to throw him in there.
Well, and a really good example of that is, we brought up Daz Cameron over the last week, and what has he done? Daz Cameron is hitting 0-50.
So
bad.
0-50. He's not hitting 100. Why is he not hitting 100? Because he's overmatched. He's not ready for big league hitting. Is he a talented young guy? Yeah, this guy could step up and be an outfielder of the future, but he's not ready yet.
1 for 20.
1 for 20. I saw the one hit though.
Oh, was it good?
Promising.
Solid. Yeah. We need to move him up in our
Move him
prospect
up.
rank.
Is there a level above MLB? Because he needs to go to that next level.
I don't know. I just felt like it was a good opportunity for Jake Rogers to come back and try to redeem himself from his poor play last year.
Yeah.
And I would have liked to see the opportunity. I get it. I understand the aspects of baseball. I really do. But it just like, why in this situation? It just seemed like the wrong situation. It's the wrong decision in my opinion. But like you guys said, I mean, you guys, they know better than I do, and I understand that. But I think it is worth questioning.
Look, I want everybody to look at this team a little bit differently. If we can have some of these young hitters come up at the same time as these other ones developing and put together, add 2 veteran hitters to this, along with a pitching staff that has the potential like Turnbull, Boyd, Michael Fulmer, if he can ever turn it around.
Yeah, hold on. We'll get to pitch.
Well, Casey Mize, Tarek Skubal, and then the young guys like Tyler Alexander. I'm not counting Jordan Zimmerman in this.
He's not part of the future?
Well, he's not part of the future at all.
Please,
but
no.
And this is not Alex Faedo. This is not Alex Faedo. This is not Matt Manning. So we still have this pitching staff is ready to go to still break out at any time. Again, focus on the hitting. Are we finding these guys, these big league hitters to... All right, guys. So you know that music. It is time to jump into our picks. But before we do that, I want to jump in and make sure that we give a little shout out to DeHops Brewing Company and Cafe for the picks of the week. I want to remind everyone to stop into DeHops Brewing Company and Cafe for some of the best beer in West Michigan. The family-friendly atmosphere is perfect for whatever you have going on. And if you mention State of My Sports, you can get a little nice discount when you carry out on a growler or get your first pint when you dine in Whatever your beer of choice is, we are sure DeHops will have something that you will like just as much, if not more. Keep an eye out for some of their great beers at your favorite local beer store, or if you can, carry out a 6-pack of their double dry hopped New England IPA 7 Secrets, Stand Delicious, which is delicious, which is also their incredible juicy IPA. It's packed with mosaic hops to create notes of pineapple and citrus, soft on the palate, great mouth feel, like I would always want to say, and it has just enough bitterness to pull you back in for another sip. Or check out their World Beer Championship Silver Medal Award-winning Shadowbox, which Sam is drinking today. It's their dark lager, is also being sold in 6-packs now. If you are not in the Walker area to carry out a 6-pack, be sure to ask your favorite beer store to start carrying their great beer. And if you haven't started yet, DeHops Brewing Company Cafe is the official brewery of State of My Sports in 2020, so please check them out and let them know that we sent you.
Let's go. Well done. Well done. We got our picks, and I love doing our picks. But before we get into those, let's talk about the results. So Micah and Kyle are leading the way. They are 3-2. They went 3-2.
That doesn't seem right.
Ryan, you went 1-4, not 4-1. Sorry,
I
about
see
that.
4-1. I thought
No,
that looked pretty good.
That was wrong. I haven't have to change that. And I went 2-3. So it's wide open. You want to bump the volume a little bit? I want to get that.
Bump up?
Yeah. Or actually, that was not your fault. That was.
It's fading out.
Yeah, it was fading out. So we will start. Browns on Thursday night are hosting the Bengals. They are +6. We got Micah. He took the Bengals. Kyle took the Bengals. Jarrett, who do you got in this game and why?
So in this game, I really liked what the Bengals kind of did. Why are we rating this game?
Because it's Thursday. We
It's
always do Thursday.
Oh, it is a Thursday night game.
we
That
always
is
do a Thursday
true.
game.
But
game.
I know. I think the Browns are going to win. Just again, straight from experience. I do think talent level, they do have more talent. But
+6.
I do. I think +6. I think it's going to be 24-21 Browns. So the Bengals will actually get +6. So
You
I'm
got
going
the
Bengals
Bengals.
+6, but the Browns will win the game.
All right, Ryan, what about you?
Dang, this makes me want to pick the Browns really badly to make up some ground. That is the only reason why I'm going to pick them, but the Browns. I'm going to pick them.
Wow. Okay.
I like the Browns. I think I don't know.
You like what they did week 1?
I don't like what they did week 1, but
They look terrible.
all in all, I think they're going to be a good team when push comes to shove, and I think Baker Mayfield's going to have a pretty good year.
They have so much talent, and they just are not a good team.
I think the the Browns win easily
Wow.
this game. All right, so we'll jump down to Seahawks, who are hosting the Patriots. Patriots getting points, which has to be rare. Micah, he took the Seahawks to cover the 4. Kyle took the Patriots. Jarrett, what about you?
I honestly, legit think this is going to be a push. I think.
Well, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. Can you do
The
that?
Seahawks are going to win.
I mean, you can do that.
Yeah, I
That's
mean, you
fine.
can.
You want to
could
push
be.
it?
Line
No,
or-
I'm not going to push it. That's a terrible move. I'm actually going to go Patriots +4. I might go the same way. I think Seahawks might win 24-21. I think the Patriots are better than what people give them credit for. This whole
I
Brady
gotta
with
see
the
it.
Bucks thing.
I gotta see it.
I think Belichick was the reason behind the winning, and he will find a way. Their defense is very, very good. Cam's whatever, but Seahawks will win, but closer than the experts think.
All right, Ryan, where are you at in this one?
I'm going Seahawks on this one. Did you see they put up
Dang it.
38 points against the Falcons? Like, this team can score, and New
Falcon?
England...
Sorry, go ahead.
What? Well, New England scored what? What did they score? Like 21
21 or something like that. It was
21.
ugly.
It was really slow in the first
Yeah.
half.
Yep.
So I think this game could get away from the Patriots if they don't come to score points early on. I
agree.
think the Seahawks could put something on him. And Russell Wilson, good luck. Once he gets a lead, good luck coming back.
Yeah, I got the Seahawks covering the 4 points. I until I see it against a true NFL team other than Miami Dolphins, I'm not gonna buy into the Patriots. And I'm sorry, I'm probably wrong to do that. Their defense is still good, but I don't know. I think Seahawks are gonna win this game pretty easily. So Monday night we got Saints -5.5 at the Raiders. Micah took the Saints. Kyle took the Saints. Jarrett, where are you going? Where are you feeling this one?
I'm going to follow suit. I think the Saints are just a lot better than the Raiders. The Raiders are getting better. They're getting there. But I don't think it's to the talent level of the Saints yet. I think Saints win 28-21, little touchdown game here. So close. I love the game in the Death Star. I think it's going to be fun to watch just because it's the new stadium. But give me the Saints -5.5.
Ryan?
Yeah, Saints all the way. I just think they're just too good, and they were tested week 1 against the Buccaneers. It doesn't matter really.
Bit, yeah.
Well, I mean, you can say a little bit, but they actually earned that a little bit.
No, I agree.
Yeah, so I think there was a lot of pressure on them week 1. Their offense came and showed, and their defense is pretty good too. So I think the Raiders are going to have their hands full going Saints.
Look, Michael Thomas is out. I don't know if you guys saw that or not. But Michael Thomas is out. I think the Raiders are actually a really good team. I think they were one of my more underrated teams that I picked early on in our season preview. I think they at least cover the 5.5. I don't know. I really like what the Raiders are doing. Call me crazy, which I am. So here we are.
I mean, they beat the Panthers, right?
Yeah, that's a good one. Miami Hurricanes are +2.5 at number 18 Louisville. We got some college football. Here.
Yeah, this is throwing me off.
Any update?
Love it.
This is the first time, and then this might be the last time until we get some real good matchups. But all right, Micah took the Hurricanes. Kyle said Miami wins outright. Jarrett, what about you, buddy?
Yeah, this is going to be a tight one. I think both these teams are pretty talented. Not as talented as the experts think, but at the same time, they are playing football, and that's saying something. So
that's good enough for us.
That's it. I'll take it.
Who's ranked higher, Ohio State or Miami and Louisville?
Oh yeah, Ohio State's ranked like 4 or 3 or something. They're not even playing.
It's so funny.
I don't get the rankings whatsoever.
Yeah,
but anyways,
it makes less sense
it
than ever.
makes no sense.
But if they were playing, they'd be really good.
Yes. Yeah.
We promise.
Well, if my aunt had a penis, she'd be my uncle.
I'm going to go. I think Hurricanes are going to need the points, just the +2.5, but they will lose the game. I think Louisville wins 30-28, so close, but Miami gets the points.
All right. Ryan.
Yeah, Louisville's going to win this game 42-17.
Not
even close.
Gosh, dude.
So confident.
I won't even
too.
be mad. Screw Miami.
What was it,
It's going to be
42-17?
spot on, guys. Watch.
Oh, man, I hope you're exactly right because you had no research going into that game. And that's okay because I had none either. I was just taking the underdog Miami. I have no idea why. I haven't watched any college football. I'm not sure I will unless the Big Ten
Miami's
Big
ranked
10 plays.
17. Are they the underdogs?
I have no idea. Yeah, Miami's underdog, but I don't know. I don't care. I really don't care until Big Ten starts playing. So.
Yeah, I know. I feel you.
Which is soon.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see. We'll see. We'll know by noon or probably midnight. The announcement.
Yeah,
will
it's
come
gonna be
out.
immediately
That's usually
after this.
what happens
Jerry,
with our podcast.
are you keeping track of this? Are you looking for
I
it?
keep trying to look,
All
and there
right.
has not been
There's
anything.
nothing.
So
This
I'm
is State
over
of My
this.
Sports, which means you will get this information 1 week after it comes out.
Yeah, exactly. Right?
Immediately after this podcast.
Every
It's like
single
every
time.
big news comes out. Yeah.
All right, so last big news of this week's, we got the picks here. Lions +5.5 against the Packers. Micah surprisingly took the Packers. I did not see that coming.
Yeah, that's stupid. That's a bad
Kyle
pick.
took the Packers. Jarrett, you have better news for me or no?
No, dude. I think Packers. I'm saying it's going to be 30-20 Packers. I think it, and that's me being lenient towards the Lions. I do think the Packers offense will roll all over the defense. It's just a matter of the Lions scoring points. I think they'll have some success, but I think the Packers are overall just a much better team. Again, with the injuries, the defense, the offense, the inefficiency with red zone. 30-20. Give me the Pack.
Ryan,
What do you think, Sam? Should we go for it?
Oh,
Go for a dub here?
Dang
you want me to go first?
No, I'll take this one. Lions are going to lose this game. That's the way I feel about this.
Okay, what about the 5.5?
It hurts me. What I want is for Stafford to be a dangerous, desperate Stafford.
Okay.
And a desperate Stafford's a good thing for the Lions. I'm still going to pick the Packers, though.
To cover the 5.5 as well?
I just don't think with the injuries that we have, I don't think that we're going to... Oh, man.
I feel like
Oprah.
I feel like
This sucks.
Oprah because you get a loss. You get a loss. Micah gets a loss. Kyle gets a loss. Lions are covering. Lions are winning. It's going to be 1-1. They're winning outright, baby.
Oh my gosh.
I'm drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, you are.
It's beer. That's what makes me feel that way.
Lions cover. Lions win. 1-1. baby.
Man, I want to join you.
You want to? You can switch it.
I do
We still
want
have
to.
ink left in the pen.
Really?
You can switch if you want.
No, I'm
The
in
music's almost done.
No, I'm in
So
this
hurry
one.
up.
I'm gonna stick with the Packers.
Packers. All right, he's sticking with the Packers. That is the end of our pick segment. So it is time to grade our Michigan beer for episode 72. But before we do, I want to remind everyone of our partner, Siciliano's Market. They are simply the best beer store in West Michigan, located on Lake Michigan Drive, right between Grand Valley Estate's main campus and downtown Grand Rapids. Wherever you live in West Michigan, it is worth the short drive.
Campus or
just roll with it. Just roll with it, guys. I told you this would be a fun episode. The short drive for whatever or for what they have to offer. Whether you know what you want or need some help from the expert staff, Siciliano's Market is the best place for it. They not only have a massive and up-to-date inventory of the best craft beer across our great nation, they are individually priced so you can mix and match to build your own six-pack.
And Kyle's not here to chime in on that, but that's a big deal. They were one of the first ones to do that.
Yeah. They not only have a great selection of craft beer, specialty wines, spirits, ciders, coffee, tea, tobacco, and cigars. Siciliano's Market also has the largest selection of homebrew and winemaking supplies in West Michigan. The largest selection. So
that's still something I want to check out.
Yeah, we're going to have
like
to
all those.
Yeah,
I want to start
wine
making
or
some
beer?
Wine.
Okay.
I think so. Yeah, beer's too easy. Everybody does it.
We love that Siciliano's Market is part of the State of My Sports family, and it is who we visit to help us choose our Michigan beer for each and every episode. Please check them out and let them know we sent you. Jarrett, do you need advice on how to do a beer grade?
Oh,
do you want Ryan? Do you want Ryan to go first? Or you got
I've done
this?
one before.
You got
Just
it?
don't do even grades, and you're good.
I've done one before. It was a 6.9. Classic.
6. Yeah, I didn't see that coming.
Predictable. Been there.
All right, I've got a couple grades here to do for these. So I have Haze and Blue, again, from both of these beers are from Big Lake Brewing. Both are juicy New England IPAs. But I have the Haze and Blue and then a Sparty Party, which for Michigan reasons, obviously, Michigan versus Michigan State. But I have 2 ratings here. So
yeah, grade them, baby. Grade them.
All right. So I went to Michigan State for a couple years, so I'm a little biased towards the old Sparty Party. But
you started out this podcast saying you're unbiased.
I'm not. I am unbiased, and I'm just going strictly off of taste. I am going to go the Sparty Party with a 6.4, which isn't great, but it's still decent. I think it's good, but again, nothing that overwhelmed me by any means. Nothing that really I won't ever need to get a Sparty Party ever again. I rated a 6.4 because Michigan State versus Michigan in football, the last 10 games is 6-4. So that's
Can you turn his mic off?
I think he said 4 and 6.
Anyways,
yeah, there we go. Perfect.
You can mute it. But the Haze and Blue, it is very refreshing.
It's a good beer with the blueberries.
It is so good. It does. So the Sparty Party doesn't really have any hint of anything. I think it says it is a New England IPA brewed with Amarillo and Mandarina hops.
Yeah.
Which it just tastes very normal to me. That is a normal beer.
How about the mouthfeel?
Good, but not bad. It's fantastic mouthfeel.
Oh, nice.
It's wet. It's wet in my
moist. But the Haze and Blue, they included, it is a New England IPA featuring Citra and Mosaic hops.
That's so much better.
And brewed with real blueberries, which the addition of it's not overwhelming with blueberries. I actually think that even in the fall, people would think this is a summer beer, but even in the fall, it would taste very good because the blueberry hint it's minimal, but you can still taste it. I gave the Haze and Blue an 8.1 because Ohio State is 8-1 versus Michigan the last 9 games. So there you go.
I knew we should have cut them off.
But great beer.
Last 9. Listen, last 9 games. You couldn't have just made it a 10.
No, because then it was a 9-1, and I didn't want. That's a high ranking. That's a very high ranking. So I literally went 8-1.
Good grades.
But
all right.
between the two, Michigan wins. Haze and Blue.
Well, we knew that. Yeah.
All right, Ryan, you got two beers to grade.
I do. Yeah.
Tonight, thanks to Siciliano's Market.
Yeah. So the first one, Toasted Brunette Coconut Brown Ale from Trail Point Brewing Company. You know what? If this was just a standard, a blonde type of beer, I think the beer itself is actually pretty good, but I could not get past the coconut. I think the coconut flavor in the background, it just left a bad taste in my mouth, literally, and I could not get past it. It was like one of those things where I wanted this beer to be good, and then every time I came back from it, I was like, oh, man, do I have to finish this?
Oh, man.
I mean,
Never
I
good
did.
for the ratings.
Yeah, but I
Never
did,
good.
though.
Oh, man.
So, you know what? I mean, even a 6.1 might be too high, but that's what I wrote down, so that's what I'm going to go with, 6.1. Disappointing with potential. Just get rid of the coconut.
Well, I mean, basically,
That's the whole
I
point
think
of
we've
the
graded
beer.
their beer that didn't have basically the exact same thing without the.
All right, well.
Maybe you didn't. I don't remember.
No, I didn't. I think it was better without the coconut. But
All right,
anyways,
next.
next one. Strawberry kiwi grindage is what we agreed to say. This is from Grand Armory Brewing Company, or just brewing. Grand Armory Brewing. You know what? I actually expected this beer to be way too sweet, way too much flavor and like a syrupy type of taste, and I did not get any of that. This actually really surprised me. It had a really good crisp flavor to it. It was how did you describe it, Sam? It was like a good
Tart.
yeah, good tart taste to it.
The
but it
tartness
wasn't
helped. Like it
wasn't sweet.
It's really well balanced. I feel
Yes.
like between the sweetness and the tartness, like it is absolutely perfect. And
Very good.
The percentage is like 25%. I think.
I think
That's
so.
why Ryan dropped it.
I
but-
think it was, but no, I was very impressed with this. I'm gonna give it a really good one. I would come back to this. I'm gonna give it an 8-1.
All right.
So I kinda
No,
had
That's
a
a good
that.
grade.
6-1 and
It's
8-1.
solid grade.
Extremes on both sides.
All right, I am drinking. I'm going to start with Shadowbox from a familiar name, the Hops Brewing Company and Cafe, established in 2017 here in Walker, Michigan. One of the great sponsors of this great podcast. I don't know which one I'm lying about, probably the podcast. But look, Shadowbox.
Great
I mean,
sponsor,
they
yeah.
they won a silver medal in the.
2004 Winter
No,
Olympics.
it was sorry, 2019 beer championships. They won the silver medal
They were juicing.
with this. It was good for them.
Literally.
Great award winning. It's right on the can. Who would have thought?
Probably
All right, so it's
2018.
2019 U.S. Open
That's what I
Beer
thought.
Championship silver medalist. 2019 Beer Awards USA's Best Dark Lager. 2019 World Beer Championship silver medalist. In 2019 GIBCC's silver medalist as well. So this is a very good beer.
It's something to write home about.
It's something to write
As Kyle
home
would
about,
say.
as Kyle would say. I'm going to give this a nice 7-8.
And this is
that a
not
fair
this
score?
is not your style.
It's not my style.
I know it's not something
Yeah.
that you would normally go to. It's not something that you would ever order because you're like, intrigued by it or anything. But that's definitely something that I would go for, and I think
You love that beer.
I do. I've given it really good grades in the past, but I think it's a pretty good grade for something that's like
It's not my style.
yeah,
for sure.
exactly.
Yeah, all right. So Star Chicken Shotgun IPA, which is from Greenbush Brewing Company. So on the can it says company in Chicago, Illinois, but they have a Sawyer location. Thank you for looking that up, Jarrett, and thank you, Katie, for pointing that out so nicely when we got it wrong last time. But anyway, I think this is a good IPA. The other Greenbush, I did drink it on the side. It was solid. This is much better with the IPA style. I'm also going to go with another 7.8. Is that fair to do?
You just
Why
did.
not?
I just did it.
Yeah.
Can
Make
I
your
do
own
that?
rules.
I mean, it's not
Make your own
my
rules, my
podcast.
friend.
It's our podcast, but I mean,
It's basically yours. Though.
CEO.
you guys call me the CEO, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna roll with that.
And president.
But, president, CEO. I mean, you
It's
guys
all part
can
of the
keep
plan to
flattering
just boost
me.
his confidence.
That's
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
we
what
tried.
the podcast is for, is just to boost my confidence because I don't have a lot of it. All right, so
This ended really well.
thank you guys for recording. Jarrett, thanks for jumping in, being a
Always
part
a
of this.
pleasure.
Ryan,
Always a
thank you
pleasure.
as always.
You bet.
Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. We'll talk to you next week, if not sooner.
Love y'all.
Come over here, sit next to me.
Peace.
We can see where things go naturally. Just say the word.